Baseball hits the air in 3,
2, 1.
Norwood, a shot to left. Warren goes back. It's out of here. He knew it from the crack of the bat. We're tied at 2. 0-1, a 2-2 tie. Wiseman's at third. 0-1 pitch. A long shot to right. It's way back. Get out of here. Home run. Brendan Hendricks, a 3-run bomb. Kettleers lead 5-2.
2014 Cotuit Kettleers Baseball lives here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Now, with the Kettleers warm-up, here's Brendan Glasheen.
The rain has finally cleared up. We're ready for baseball after a 2-day layoff. A cluster of teams fighting for playoff positioning in the Western Division, and the Kettleers have to take care of business against the Falmouth Commodores to conclude the 2014 regular season. Greg Moraz and Brendan Glasheen here at Lowell Park for the final time this year in regular season play. The Kettleers were last in action on Friday night in Wareham at Spillane Field. Cotuit lost by a score of 5-0, in which they were completely shut down offensively, Greg.
Well, you have to look at this in the terms of, and you'll hear it from Coach Roberts in the Roberts Report, Jackson Glines and Trace Barrera each had 2 hits off of Sean Adler. Other than that, the Kettleers had 2 hits total dating back to July 25th against Wareham in games that do not include playing the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. The Kettleers have scored 3 runs in their past 38 innings. Those 2 games against Hyannis, 20 combined runs. So the Kettleers need to get the offense going against somebody who isn't Hyannis. And Falmouth, 3rd in the league in pitching, that's somebody that you need to be able to score against.
On the night Sean Adler threw a complete game, there was another complete game in the CCBL. Ryan Kellogg, pitcher for Bourne, ended his career as a Bourne Brave, pitcher from Arizona State, with a 1-hitter, a no-hitter that was broken up with 2 outs in the ninth. So on a night where the Cape Cod Baseball League had not seen a player throw a complete game, we saw 2 in one night. Adler did that to the Kettleers, and tonight the Falmouth Commodores are in town for the final 2 of this regular season series. Right now, the series is tied at 2 games apiece. The last time these 2 teams met, Greg, was on July 17th here at Lowell Park, a 4-2 win. It always seems like when the Commodores come to town or we travel to Falmouth, it's been a long times ago. This team is back.
Well, the thing about these 2 teams is that every game of the 4 that they've played have been decided by 2 runs or less, and each team has won both games that they've played at each other's home park. Falmouth has not won at Lowell Park this season. This is the only ballpark in the CCBL that the Commodores have not won at. So they are going out there today hoping to be able to get a win to not only go into the playoffs on a right note, but also to have one more chance to grasp the number 1 seed away from Bourne.
But the Kettleers, as we break down this ball game today here on the Kettleers warm-up, quickly before we get into what we hear from Mike Roberts before the game, Greg, the Kettleers since July 29th, last Tuesday, have added 6 new players to this roster. One of them will be in the lineup today, Kyle Lewis, a DH from Mercer, a very highly sought prospect we'll get more into. But down the stretch with 2 games to go, postseason berth being clinched, whether they're the 3 or 4 seed, we'll also discuss throughout the broadcast today. But what is it like, in your opinion, to see a bunch of new names and new faces added to the clubhouse?
This is very similar to what happened last year with the Cotuit Kettleers. And the Kettleers, over the last 2 seasons, nobody has had more roster turnover from start to finish than this squad. Mike Roberts said that it gelled well last year. It's something that you have to get used to. It's more about guys going back to school and whether guys go home with injuries or whatnot. Jamison Fisher has gone home with an injury. John Norwood has signed a professional contract. So this is something that you have to expect. But especially in the bullpen, 4 new guys added to the relief staff. That's going to be the real key for me, to see how those guys are able to gel.
For more on these new players and also what the Kettleers are going to try and do these next handful of days against Falmouth, Greg Moraz caught up with Mike Roberts on the Roberts Report. It's time for the Roberts Report on the Kettleers warm-up. Standing by with Mike Roberts is Greg Moraz.
Here on the Roberts Report with head coach Mike Roberts after a 2-day layoff. And coach, you were expecting to have an off day today. You've already expected to have played your last 2 games of the season. How do the 2 unexpected off days plan into how you're trying to coach the end of the season?
Well, you just have to accept off days in this sport. It happens, and you just move forward. We've got a few new players and a few new pitchers in, so it might give them a chance to participate after getting comfortable instead of just walking in and playing. So it'll be fine. I think the biggest problem anytime when you get into the late in the season in any summer league is each youngster and when they have to be back at school.
Now, you talk about the new players. John Jennings played briefly in Friday night's game against Wareham, and you had 5 new players added to the roster over the weekend. How do you think that's going to gel in terms of bullpen chemistry, because 4 of those 5 new guys that were added are pitchers?
Well, I don't know. I don't have a magic wand to be able to snap my fingers and say, is it good, is it not good? But if they're good people, it'll be fine. Last year we added 9 players at the end of the year, and all of them were humble. They were just really nice guys. They fit in well, and it wasn't a problem. So, right now I'm just looking to see that we've got good people, and if we've got good people, they'll mesh in with the club fine.
Now, staff days are something that you have not done a whole lot, but today you've elected to go with the staff day. Logan James 1-2, Luke Leftwich 3-4. New guy Jake Harper 5-6, and then a combo of Adam Witt and Will Stillman 7-8-9. What was behind your decision to go with a staff day today?
Well, we'll go with the staff day today and tomorrow because we want to keep everybody fresh enough that they can pitch in the first round of the playoffs. And so, and also when you look at how many days has it been since certain guys have thrown, they need to get on the mound and not just in the bullpen. So it's a combination of playoffs as well as when did they throw last.
Now, the offense came to life in the home-and-home against Hyannis, 20 combined runs in 2 games, but it went silent again against Wareham. Sean Adler, to his credit, a complete game shutout, something you hardly ever see in the Cape League. What do you think your offense needs to do to be consistent again?
Well, we need to hit the ball between the screws often, all 9 guys. We need to bunt well, run the bases, hit and run. Kind of the small ball, which is what I like to do. You can't depend on the home run, and you got to cut your strikeouts down. So if your strikeouts are low and we make consistent contact all the way through the order, then we'll score runs. The Cape League pitching, when you look at Adler at Wareham the other night, he just had one of those nights where first inning we hit the ball really hard, didn't hit it very hard after that. So you have to give him credit. But I think we'll be fine, and it's a combination of hitting, pitching, defense, base running. It's everything. It's not just one element. I look for every game in the Cape League to be 1-0. So how do we get that 1 run? That's what I'm looking for.
All right, Coach, thank you very much. Go out and get a win today.
All right, thank you.
That was head coach Mike Roberts here on the Roberts Report. We'll be back with more of the Kettleers warm-up right after this.
It's time for Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Now, with lineups and first pitch, here's Brendan Glasheen.
The Falmouth Commodores and hometown Cotuit Kettleers squaring off for the final 2 games of this regular season, one today and one tomorrow in Falmouth. Greg Mraz and Brendan Glasheen on hand here at Lowell Park. The officiating crew standing just behind home plate. The Kettleers ready to take the field defensively as they huddle up down the left field line. For Cotuit today, the starter Logan James, Greg, and a day that in which you mentioned with Mike Roberts, this is going to be a staff day for the Kettleers.
To give you guys an idea as to what you're going to expect in terms of this staff day, Logan James will start. He'll go 1-2. Luke Leftwich, he'll go 3-4. 5 and 6 will be done by Jake Harper, a new arrival. 7, 8, and 9 will be a combination of Adam Witt and Will Stillman. So 5 guys that will throw today for the Cotuit Kettleers. So expect a lot of pitching changes here today, folks.
Logan James getting the grip on his baseball as he holds the sock, and we'll give you the starting lineup for today's Falmouth Commodores. Leading off at second base, the second baseman, Trevor Morrison of Oregon State. Stephen Duggar, center fielder from Clemson, bats second. Kevin Newman, currently leading the Cape Cod Baseball League in hitting. Hitting third, he's over at short. Connor Hale, third baseman for Louisiana State, hits in the cleanup spot. Cameron O'Brien bats fifth. He's the DH from West Virginia. Boomer White, the transfer from TCU, will be attending Texas A&M this coming fall. He'll be batting sixth in left field. Jake Madsen who is right behind Mr. Newman in that race. He's over at first base, batting 7th from Ohio. Sean Chase, the catcher from Oregon, making his first appearance against the Kettleers this year. He hits 8th at catcher. And Connor Costello, right fielder from Oklahoma State, rounds out the order. He hits 9th.
From left to right in the outfield, Jeremy Taylor, Jackson Glines, and Jake Fincher. Drew Jackson at third, Kyle Holder at shortstop. Logan Taylor plays second base, and Trace Barrera making the start at first. John Jennings, the UMass Amherst catcher, making his first start behind the dish tonight, catching pitches from the lefty from Stanford, number 38, Logan James.
Logan James getting the nod today as part of a staff day for Mike Roberts. James, left-handed pitcher from Stanford, gets the nod in a game in which Cotuit really needs Greg if they want to be able to notch the 3 seed in the Western Division. Of course, Hyannis is just in front of the Kettleers by 2 points.
Well, the complicated things is 3 of the 5 games scheduled yesterday were played. Hyannis and YD tied, which puts Hyannis 2 points ahead of the Kettleers. If Hyannis beats YD and Falmouth wins one of these 2 games here, Cotuit is locked into the 4 seed. Anything other than that combination, Cotuit could end up with the 3 seed.
Logan James into the windup, first pitch of the ball game. A fastball that tails low and away. 1 ball, no strikes on Trevor Morrison, second baseman from Oregon State, in the leadoff spot today. Bats from the left side. James, left-handed hurler, winds and kicks the 1-0. Fastball sliced over our heads into the parking lot. Heads foul, 1-1. Logan James today entering his 10th appearance, making his 6th start with the Kettleers, an ERA over 8 with a 1-2 record. Glove out in front, fires the 1-1 pitch. Fastball high by the hands of Morrison. 2 balls and a strike. Morrison on the year hitting .207. No homers, 10 runs batted in. A red barrel with a tan end of the bat, 2-1 pitch. Fastball inside, a half-hearted swing, called a strike by home plate umpire John Leeds. Our umpires today are brought to you by Friendly's Ice Cream because we want friendly conversations with our officiating crew and players and coaches. Leeds behind the plate, Mark Delaney down the first base line, and Steve Koneski down the third base line today here at Lowell Park. 2-2. Curveball, chopped on the ground, foul, no play for Drew Jackson down the third base line. A beautiful day here at Lowell Park. The rain has finally escaped the forecast. Saturday and Sunday were both rained out in the CCBL. There were still 3 games going on. Greg just talked about one of those games. Hyannis as well as YD tying last night. 2-2. Fastball popped up to the left side. Again, no play for the left side of the infield. It's into the Slotnick family grandstands, who are slowly starting to fill in. Count 2-2 on Morrison.
Weather, though, may have done the Chatham Anglers in. A 5-inning fog-out last night at Veterans Field. Orleans won that one 4-0.
Which makes the Eastern Division race a lot better. 2-2 pitch, a curveball, low and in. Of course, the Brewster Whitecaps just climbed into 4th place, which is the final playoff spot in the Eastern Division ahead of Chatham. And what a turnaround for the Anglers. Best team in the East last year in the division. They could be last, missing the playoffs. 3-2 curveball. Morrison goes around, strike 3. And now throw down to first base by Jennings in time on the drop third strike. First out of the game, a strikeout for Logan James.
And that's what Logan James needs to do here today. He knows how long he is going to go, so he needs to be able to locate his breaking pitches effectively, because when he does that, he's one of the best pitchers on his staff. When he can't locate his breaking pitches, he'll go exclusively fastball, and that's when he gets hit hard.
Steven Duggar, a Clemson Tiger, bats from the left side, an open stance, chops a fastball on the ground over to second base. Logan Taylor fields to his left, throw on the run to first in time. Route number 2 on 1 pitch. 2 down, top of the first, between Cotuit and Falmouth. Greg Moraz and Brendan Glasheen here with you on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. And here's Kevin Newman, the red-hot hitter that just can't be stopped in CCBL action. Sports number 2, batting from the right side today. Newman 8 for 14 against Kettleers pitching this year. A slight open stance. First pitch curveball to the Arizona Wildcat, misses away. 1-0 on Newman, hitting .357 on the year. Tied with former Bourne Brave Billy Fleming, who signed a pro contract with the New York Yankees. 1-0 pitch, chopped on the ground, down the third base line. It tails towards the Kettleers dugout foul. And that is going to be quite the race to watch down the stretch, considering Fleming can't do anything. He's with the Yankee organization. The count 1-1 on Newman as James winds and kicks the pitch. Curveball loops away, 2-1.
At this point in the year, Fleming has played, even though he's no longer with the team, he's played 2 more games than Kevin Newman. So on eligibility records, when the season's over, they will both have played the exact same amount of games.
2-1 to Kevin. Fastball upstairs and away. 3 balls and a strike. It's definitely a race in which you have to consider how this boils down. Fleming had 112 at-bats. Newman's at 115. Holds the bat close to his chest. The 3-1 pitch. Newman looks at a changeup, low and away at 89 from Logan James. 3-2 with 2 outs.
You also have to remember that for most of the year, Kevin Newman has been hitting in the top 3 spots in the lineup. Billy Fleming hit mostly at the top of the lineup, but in a few games he was at the bottom. That may make the difference.
Payoff pitch, low and in, ball 4. Curveball too far and in by the shoot tops of Newman. This certainly won't help, nor will it hurt the batting average as Newman trots down to first base. First base runner we've seen today. Newman unwraps his batting gloves down the first base line. It's time for Connor Hale, third baseman from Louisiana State. Batting from the right side. As James stares in for the sign. A breezy day at Lowell Park. You can see the tents to our left blowing up. First pitch fastball up and into Hale. A ball and a strike. Hale 6 for 18 against the Kettleers. That's the most at-bats for any Commodore against the Kettleers pitching staff. 1-0. Misses. No, called a strike. Change-up dips low and in. Called a strike by John Leeds, home plate umpire. Ball and a strike now on Hale.
You'd rather pitch to Hale than Newman. Newman this season against Cotuit hitting .571, 8 for 14.
James sets, 1-1 offering. Misses inside. Newman's off as the pitch goes in front. Jennings' throw to second, not in time. Newman's feet were already at second base once the ball approached Logan James's glove. 2 balls and a strike.
This game's very important for Falmouth. They currently stand 2 games behind the Bourne Braves. A Braves win or a Falmouth loss tonight locks Falmouth into the 2 seed, and it gives Bourne the Western Division.
Runner in scoring position with 2 outs. A scoreless game early on. Pitch fouled to the right side. 2-2 on Connor Hale.
The only way that Falmouth can get the number 1 seed, and fortunately for them they hold the tiebreaker with Bourne, is if they win out and Bourne loses out. Now Bourne's got a home and home against the Wareham Gatemen, so I don't think they're going to be losing out.
2-2 the count. James fires the 2-2. It's lined towards the hole up the middle. A base hit on the ground. Kevin Newman's being waved around. No throw from Glines as it's cut off by the shortstop, Kyle Holder. A base hit for Connor Hale scores Newman. It's 1-0 Falmouth with 2 down in the top of the first.
Connor Hale has been a Kettleer killer, to say the least. He's hitting over 300 against the Kettles. He hit a ball very hard the last time off of Luke Leftwich that these 2 teams were here. Logan Taylor made an unassisted double play, but he seems to love hitting against Cotuit pitching.
First pitch fouled off by Cam O'Brien, the DH, batting from the left side. He's of West Virginia. And that's RBI number 36 for Connor Hale. That leads the entire league. That's also 5 more than the next guy in line. That's Chris Shaw of Chatham. So Hale continues to mash and drive in runs for this Commodore offense. He has about a 5-step lead at first base. James fires the 0-1 pitch. It's chopped on the ground towards second base. Taylor on the run, fields and throws to the first baseman, Trace Barrera, in time. 1 run in for the Commodores in the top of the first. Kettleers coming up to bat here at Lowell Park. We'll go to the home half. Kettleers baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years.
Home half of the first inning back here at Lowell Park. Greg Moraz and Brendan Glasheen on hand on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Let's get you the starting 9 for the Cotuit Kettleers. Second baseman from Texas A&M, Logan Taylor, leads things off for Cotuit. Kyle Holder hits second. He's over at short. Trace Barrera, the first baseman, bats third. Jackson Glines hits in the cleanup spot. He's in center. Jake Fincher bats fifth. He's in right. Jeremy Taylor has hit 4 straight games. He's been batting sixth. He's in left field. Kyle Lewis, the new member from Mercer, also played in the Great Lakes League. He's the DH, hitting seventh. John Jennings, the catcher, hits eighth. And batting ninth, Drew Jackson. He's over at third.
Boomer White, Steven Duggar, and Connor Costello from left to right in the outfield. Connor Hale, Kevin Newman, Trevor Morrison, and Jake Mattson around the horn from third to first.
First pitch to Logan Taylor, a fastball in the outside corner. Called a strike. Matt Hollenbeck, the starter today, making his first start of his collegiate career. We saw Jeff Kinley do that a couple weeks ago with Cotuit. 0-1 pitch from Hollenbeck, fouled to the right side by Taylor. 0-2 on the Cotuit offensive MVP was voted on by the players. Adam Witt got it for the pitchers, Logan Taylor for the position players.
To finish out the defensive alignment, Sean Chase, the catcher from Oregon. First time that the Kettleers have faced him this season, catching pitches from the man you just mentioned. Hoya Saxa from Georgetown, Matt Hollenbeck.
0-2 pitch. Logan looks at a changeup blowing in at 91. A ball and a strike to Taylor, hitting at .305 on the year. 4 homers, 18 RBIs. That average has skyrocketed since the All-Star voting came out. Taylor snubbed of a spot. 1-2, pop to the right side. It leans out by the first base line. It tails foul. 1-2 on Logan Taylor.
And the thing that's really bothersome when you think about the All-Star selections is there was an open spot after voting happened because Billy Fleming signed a pro contract, yet instead of putting Logan Taylor on the team, he was replaced with Kramer Robertson from LSU, playing for a last-place Wareham Gateman squad.
1-2 pitch on to Taylor. Fastball chopped on the ground over to third base. Hale gathers, throw across the diamond. On a line to Mattson. He makes the catch for out number 1. And you mentioned how the voting goes down. It's almost one of those things, too, where it's almost too early. You don't give these guys enough time to really make an impact. And you look at Cotuit's roster, no question, a team that leads the league in transactions with 6 new guys here since last Tuesday. Some of these guys haven't enough time to prove themselves. As Holder steps in, a lefty-lefty matchup, takes a change-up, outside at 76. 1-0.
2 straight years of 50-plus players taking the field for the Cotuit Kettleers.
1-0 is popped up to right field. Costello a couple of steps over. The ball hangs high in the air. He makes the catch just in front of his eyes for out number 2. Trace Barrera time now, and 50 transactions or more is just crazy. But considering, when you said it before the game today, you have to add guys to the roster because of players that have to leave due to commitments with school. And you have to remember, too, I mean, these kids have been playing baseball since February. I mean, back to spring training days. Barrera steps in from the right side, looks at a fastball upstairs. The Texas Longhorn hitting a dismal batting average of just .215. 14 of 65. 1-0, fastball, misses low and in.
And that's with a 2-hit performance on Friday night against the Wareham Gatemen. Coming into Friday night's game, he was only hitting at .197.
2-0 count on the bulky catcher. Pitch upstairs. Ruled 3-0.
I'd say less bulky and more cut, chiseled.
3-0 downstairs, ball 4, 4-pitch walk. The chiseled Trace Barrera trots down the first base line. Is he as chiseled as the Slotnick family grandstands to our left? Because those are awfully chiseled, considering how brand new they are. What's also unbelievable is this is our final home game here at Lowell Park this season. We want to thank all of our listeners and viewers on Barnstable, Channel 99, and Channel 13 in Sandwich for tuning in all year long. An inside fastball thigh high to Jackson Glines. Center fielder from Michigan had 2 hits yesterday. The count 0-1. So thank you for tuning in to myself and Greg Moraz all season long. We hope to see you in the postseason. We'll have one more game here at Lowell Park, at least, as a changeup misses low and away to Glines, 1-1.
At the moment, with the Kettleers in the 4 seed, there will be a maximum, should Cotuit get to the championship, there will be a maximum of 3 more games here at Lowell Park.
1-1 pitch, line to the left side. It's falling quickly over the head of Hale in left field. It's a base hit. On a flare, Jackson Glines gets a base hit, first and second for the Kettleers with 2 down.
Glines has now hit safely in 6 of his last 7 games, and he's now 10 for his last 21. Jackson Glines, as hot as the sun is yellow.
Is it really as yellow as people say it is, though? Because studying earth science in 6th and 7th grade, I found the sun was a lot more orange and red. You know, it's yellow on the outside, but he's so hot that it should be closer to the orange and red part. Fastball line to the right side by Fincher. No balls and a strike.
I was trying to imply that he was red hot, but then when I was saying that, I realized that the sun really isn't red. So then I thought of white hot, and the sun isn't white. I could have thought of a white dwarf, but those really aren't white either.
0-1 pitch from Fincher. Misses inside, 1-1 to the right fielder from NC State. Fincher trying to find his swing back after hitting over 400 entering the month of July, and since he's really struggled. Holds the bat close to his right shoulder. Hollenbeck sets the 1-1. Fastball popped to the right. Shoots out of play by the trees, by the opposing view. Grandstands. 1-2 on Fincher. Entering with a 288 clip. No homers, 11 RBIs. Cotuit in the home whites with the pinstripes. Red helmets, well, maroon helmets. Maroon numbering, maroon lettering. Fincher, the red NC State cleats. Fastball away to the right-handed hitter, 2-2. Barrera at second, Glines at first. 1-0 Falmouth. Here at the beautiful Lowell Park, our final regular season game this year comes against one of Cotuit's main rivals, Falmouth. 2-2 swung on and missed. Curveball from Hollenbeck gets Fincher on his toes, missing to retire the side. We're through 1 at Lowell Park. Falmouth leads 1-0 on the Cotuit Kettleers. Kettleers baseball plays right here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network, Barnstable, Mashpee, Channel 99, and Channel 13 in Sandwich.
Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast.
Start of the second inning at Lowell Park. It's 1-0 Falmouth ahead of the Cotuit Kettleers in Cotuit's final home game of the regular season. 6, 7, and 8 to step in for Falmouth offensively. Boomer White, left fielder, on his way to Texas A&M next year as Logan James winds and kicks. Fastball at 87, tails away from John Jennings, the catcher. 1-0 on White. Decided throughout the summer that he's going to transfer from TCU and become a member of the Aggies. Fastball low and in. 2-0. Infield and outfield lined up in normal depth for the Kettleers. James, the left-handed pitcher from Stanford, holds the glove by his belly, comes up to the letters, and fires the 2-0. Inside, called a strike on the corner. 2-1 on White. He'll have to sit out his junior year with A&M due to the transfer rule with NCAA regulations. 2-1 pitch. Curveball chopped slowly on the dirt, picked up by Holder, takes a couple of steps to his left, throw to first, caught by Barrera in time for out number 1. And the red-hot Jake Madsen, also a discussion that needs to be said about this kid in the batting average spot. He's 7 plate appearances away from being in the discussion. Left-handed hitter from Ohio. Stands tall at 6'2". First pitch fastball outside. 1-0 on Madsen. Jake hitting .545 in the last 5 games. A 6-for-11 clip. The 1-0 pitch. Curveball dips to the outside corner. 1-1 at the knees. James winds, offers the 1-1. Fastball nubbed towards the middle. Logan Taylor to the dive. It goes through the hole, a base hit. Taylor dives to his right. The ball snuck right under his glove. And Madsen's on with a base hit. Jake now 11 for his previous 26 in 7 games played. His average entering tonight's ball game at .367. So he just needs 6 more plate appearances. If he can maintain that average, he's in a good spot. Sean Chase, bulky right-handed hitter, steps in. Plays at Oregon with yellow and green team colors, but has a bright red barrel with bright white batting gloves. Pitch low in the dirt. He tells his teammate Madsen at first to hold up. Chase also making his first appearance against the Kettleers. Tonight's starting catcher. Slight open stance, batting from the right side. Holds the hands far out in front of home plate. 2-0 fastball. Bat leaves the shoulders, but doesn't go all the way around. It's 3-0. James sets, 3-0 pitch. Fastball knee high on the outside corner. Called a strike, 3-1. Chase nods his head in agreement, gets a pitch he can finally see that crosses home plate. A quick set, 3-1 offering. Fastball away, ball 4. Falmouth's got first and second with 1 out for the 9-hitter Connor Costello. First walk today for Logan James. He's allowed 1 run in an inning and a third. 1-0 Falmouth early on. 2 hits for the Commodores through the first 8 batters. With 1 run scored, Cotuit has 1 hit from Jackson Glines in the bottom of the first frame. James sets, gives Madsen a look at second. Pitch outside. 1-0 on Costello. 6'3", 205-pound right-handed hitter from Oklahoma State. Waves the bat out in front. Right-handed hitter with bright orange cleats and orange batting gloves. 1-0 pitch hammered down the left field line. It tails foul into the trees. Home run distance, but slapped a bit too hard to the left. It's 1-1. Falmouth in their away black jerseys, also the maroon lettering. White trim around the top of the shirts and home half of the sleeves. 1-1, misses away. Jennings out of the crouch, 2 balls and a strike.
You know, Luke Leftwich is already loosening up, ready to come in for the third, but, you know, if this gets any worse than it already is, I wonder if Coach Roberts doesn't hesitate to go to Leftwich a little early.
Katuitt head coach Mike Roberts electing to go with a staff day. 2-1 pitch, lined into the backstop foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And if you joined our broadcast after we played the Roberts Report, there will be a staff day tomorrow as well. So expect to see a lot of pitchers tomorrow at Arnie Allen Diamond.
As Leftwich continues to warm in the pen, it's first and second. With 1 out, 2-2 the count. It's 1-0 Falmouth already. Curveball chopped on the dirt over to third base. Picked up by Jackson to go to second for 1. The throw to first, not in time to get Costello at first. Down to third base goes Madsen. Sean Chase retired at second base, 5-4 on the putout. And Costello reaches first on a fielder's choice. Now first and third for the Commodores.
Very smart base running by Jake Madsen. He hesitated to come off of the second base bag because he knew if he kept running, Drew Jackson, the third baseman who fielded that ball, had a chance to tag him and then probably fire on to first to get Connor Costello. Instead, he holds up, waits for the throw to second, and then right when the throw goes to second, he darts right for third.
2 down for Trevor Morrison, second baseman from Oregon State. Steps in on the left side, chops it up the middle. To the backhand goes Logan Taylor on the right side. Throw to first in time. Nice done by the MVP of the position players. We will not go to a commercial break as coming up next half inning, the newest Kettleer, Kyle Lewis, in the DH spot today, hitting 7th from Mercer. Caught up with us before today's game. We didn't have a chance to play this in our pregame show. So here's Kyle Lewis with Greg Moraz for Hot Off the Kettle. See which Kettleer is heating up on today's edition of Hot Off the Kettle with Greg Moraz.
Today's Hot Off the Kettle is a new guy, outfielder DH Kyle Lewis from Mercer. And Kyle, explain to me the process of you coming from the Great Lakes League where you're playing with the Lima Locos to coming here. What has the transition been like, and when did you get the call to come up here?
Well, we had a semifinal game 2 days ago, and after the game, our general manager came up to me with an offer to come play for you guys, so I had to hurry up and pack my stuff up, turn around, and get on the flight the next day and come up here. So, the guys are pretty welcoming, so it's going well so far.
You're in the lineup as the DH your first day here. I mean, how big is that for you to come here and be put in the lineup right away?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, I didn't know what to expect coming, so the fact that Coach has enough confidence in me to put me in the lineup from day one it's a big boost, and I'll try to make the most of it.
What kind of player would you describe yourself as?
I like to call myself a balanced player. I have power, I have speed. I feel like I can field, I can do all. I feel like I can do everything on the field.
We'll hear more from Kyle Lewis's interview with Greg Moraz when he comes to the plate in his next at-bat. For now, it's Jeremy Taylor to lead off the bottom of the second. Greg Moraz and Brendan Glasheen here with you on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Jeremy Taylor batting from the left side, outfielder from East Tennessee State, looks at a fastball over the heart of the plate from Matt Hollenbeck, left-handed pitcher from Georgetown. Has a slight open stance with his right foot pointed toward the third base side. 0-1, curveball upstairs by the hands of Taylor. 1-1. Jeremy has hit safely in 4 straight games. Has a hit in at least 7 of the previous 10. Hollenbeck sets. Chase sets up outside. Curveball dips away. 2-1.
Jeremy Taylor has been seeing more and more starting time out in left field, especially with Rhett Wiseman and John Norwood both gone, 2 of your main outfielders.
2-1 fastball, chopped on the ground to the right side, foul. Taylor slapped a pitch away and pulled it. Can't get it down the line, so it's 2-2. Wiseman, of course, leaving due to a fractured right hand. So the Vanderbilt outfielder all done with Katuitt. As for John Norwood, more positive news, 2-2. Curveball waved on and missed. Hollenbeck goes away to get the strikeout. Second strikeout for the hurler from Georgetown. That's how it starts the second. And for John Norwood, signing with the Miami Marlins. A pro contract player now after missing a couple of games due to rest. For Katuitt, decides to go on inside. Newest member of the Kettleers, Kyle Lewis, steps in on the right side. Takes a fastball on the outside corner. 0-1 on Lewis. Wears number 7. A slight open stance with the high socks today. Cocks the bat behind his helmet. 1-1. A big swing and a miss at 90 miles per hour. Get to know Kyle Lewis was the player of the year and top-rated prospect in the Great Lakes League. As Greg said, played for the Lima Locos this past year. Fastball high and away. 1-2.
Lewis this season for Lima hit .342, 6 home runs, and 36 RBIs.
1-2 pitch, heaved into center field, a long run in for Steven Duggar. He'll make the catch in right center just in front of his teammate Connor Costello. The outfielders discuss, and Duggar pulls it in for the out. So Kyle Lewis goes down in his first at-bat. Again, we'll hear more from his hot off the kettle interview with Greg Baraz next time he comes up to bat. So the DH from Mercer is down on an F8. John Jennings, the catcher from UMass, getting his first start for Mike Roberts, stands in and heaves one foul into the backstop. Jennings did appear on Friday at Wareham, struck out in a pinch hit at bat. The well-known Mike Stone, a former first-round pick, is the head coach at UMass Amherst. Curveball cuts right to left over the heart of home plate from Hollenbeck. 0-2 quickly on Jennings.
Jennings has probably faced the likes in the MAC of former Katuitt Kettleer right-hander Gabe Berman.
0-2 fastball, knocked down the right field line. A long run in right for Costello. He'll make the grab just on the chalk. Flips the ball in his hand to make sure he did indeed get it. 1-2-3 go the Kettles in the home half of the second. We'll go to the third. It's 1-0 Falmouth on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years.
Top of the third inning here at Lowell Park. Logan James Day is done. 2 innings of work, 2 hits allowed, 1 run, it was earned, and a walk. The new pitcher on for the Kettleers is the right-hander from Wofford, Luke Leftwich.
Leftwich makes his 13th appearance with the Kettleers, 11th out of the bullpen. For Leftwich, he's logged 26 in the third innings pitched. He's allowed 23 hits, 26 runs. Just half of those runs are earned, though, 13. He's walked 16 batters and has struck out 15. The ERA at 4.44 for Leftwich.
Leftwich's last start came against these Falmouth Commodores here back on July 17th. He went 3 2/3 innings of work, giving up 2 runs. Now, for Leftwich, he has pitched 3 innings apiece in each of his last 2 appearances, both out of the bullpen. In each of those appearances, he has given up 5 runs. Of the 10 total runs over the span of those last 2 appearances, only 1 of them was earned. So 9 unearned runs for Luke Leftwich in his last 6 innings of work. 5 of those runs happened to come in that 5th inning against, or rather the 6th inning against Wareham back on July 25th, in which the Gatemen scored 5 runs, batting around without recording a hit. First pitch hit up the middle. Steven Duggar. Logan Taylor dives to his right, picks the ball up, throws to first. It gets past Trace Barrera and goes to the screen, but Trace Barrera backing up. Steven Duggar is on for the first time today, and it's recorded a hit. So the 3rd hit for the Falmouth Commodores brings up Kevin Newman.
There's been a lot of action up the middle today for Logan Taylor over at second base. He's had a few plays where he's gone to his left, and Taylor loves to throw the ball on the run. That's something he gets from playing third and shortstop deep in the hole. But playing second, he's seen a lot of plays with the ball hit up the middle.
Brings up Kevin Newman. Walked and scored in the first for the Commodores' only run. 1-0 Falmouth. First pitch on the way. A fastball at 87 hits the inner paint for a strike. 0-1. Jackson in on the grass at third. Holder and Taylor shifted over towards the second base bag. 2-step lead at first for Steven Duggar. Trace Barrera holding him on. 1-0 or 0-1 offering in the dirt. Gets away from John Jennings. And scooting up to second base, Steven Duggar. So a wild pitch from Leftwich puts a man in scoring position with nobody out here in the top of the third inning. Leftwich in the stretch, first base side of the rubber. The right-hander sets at the letters, looks back to second. Duggar dances around. Newman waggles the bat. 1-1, sweeping slider to the outside. 2-1 the count on Newman, who holds his bat very much like Sammy Sosa. Holds it straight up and down, elbows extended in both directions with a bit of a crouch. Even stance at the plate, 2-1 offering. Number to right center field, that falls for a base hit. Lyons goes over to get it, ranging to his right. Duggar comes around and scores. Falmouth takes a 2-0 lead here in the top of the third.
Well, we mentioned in Kevin Newman's first at-bat that a walk will not hurt you, nor will it help you. And this time, he helps the average out with a base hit to right center. Average coming in at .357. Likely to increase a couple of points with that base knock.
Brings up Connor Hale. Hale 1-for-1 with an RBI single. First pitch on the way to the right-hander. Fastball at the knees for a strike, 0-1. Kevin Newman is now hitting an even .600, 9 for 15 against Cotuit this season. 0-1 to Hale. Fastball, the low outer corner it hits. Taken for a strike, 0-2. Connor Hale lined into an unassisted double play to Logan Taylor the last time these two teams were here. And Luke Leftwich was on the mound. Newman leads from first, nobody out here in the top of the second. Strike taken on the outside corner, and Hale walks back to home plate, or walks back to the dugout, I should say. Not believing that was a strike, but John Leeds called it a strike. First out of the inning for Luke Leftwich, and it brings up Cameron O'Brien. Just found this out about O'Brien the other day. 0-for-1 on the ball game, grounded out to second back in the first. Leftwich in the stretch. Newman going, pitch, taken for a strike, throw down to second base. Not in time. Stolen bag for Kevin Newman. Cameron O'Brien is listed as a switch hitter. Now, I had never seen him bat from the right side. I found out that he has an injury in his right shoulder. He can still catch and throw, but he cannot hit from the right side. It is too painful. 0-1 on the way to O'Brien. Nubs it to the left side. Jackson, the third baseman. It goes off of his glove, and he falls down to his right. O'Brien safe on an error by Drew Jackson. Runners at first and second. One out here in the top of the third. 2-0. Commodores lead the Kettleers. Brings up Boomer White, the transferee to Texas A&M. White went in a big slump for a while. His average now standing at .281. Over his last 10 ball games, he is hitting 14 for 40. That's an even .350 clip. First pitch swinging, slices it out of play to the right. 0-1 the count on White. Newman at second. O'Brien at first. 2-0 Falmouth. Here in the top of the third. Commodores got one in the top of the first and one here in the third. Leftwich stares in, gets the sign. Sets, looks back to second. The right-handed hitting White waggles the bat slowly. Time called, and Leftwich steps off.
And you mentioned Logan James being in a jam last half inning.
0-1 to White. Breaking ball, misses low and away. Count even up at 1.
Last inning, rather. With Leftwich now in the game after 2 innings from James. Staff starts are helpful to save arms, but for starting pitchers that are normally starters that come out of the pen, it's tough to get in a rhythm.
1-1 offering to White. White slices it out of play over the backstop to the right side, 1-2. But it is hard to get in a rhythm. Falmouth has put 2 runners on in every inning so far.
And for Leftwich, I mean, he hasn't caught a break at all. 26 runs allowed, half of them have been earned, half have been unearned. I mean, that's crazy.
Time called. Leftwich spins back to second. First run of this inning to Leftwich, though, was earned. If O'Brien comes around and scores, that run will be unearned. 1-2, fastball, just misses low and away. Count even up on Boomer White, who will not be allowed to play until the 2016 season. He's going to have to sit out all of 2015 because of his transfer from TCU. Leftwich steps off, time called. So this is the last baseball that Boomer White's going to get to play for a long time. 2-2 on the way, double steal, it's a hit and run. White fouls it back to the screen. Count remains 2-2.
And I'm sure A&M has some sort of club program or fall league that White will participate in, but in terms of the actual regular season, you're correct. He will not see action. So no question, he's a guy that will take full advantage of the at-bats and playing time here in the Cape League under Coach Trundy down the stretch and into the postseason.
2-2, the count remains to Boomer White. Jackson even with the bag at third. Barrera not holding on. Cameron O'Brien at first. Good speed at second. Very average speed at first. The right-handed hitting White. Deliberate at the plate. Taps his toes. And now holds the bat. About a 45-degree angles to his shoulders. 2-2 on the way from Leftwich. White pokes it to left. Taylor charges into his left. Dives. He can't make the play. It goes over his glove. Newman comes around. He will score. O'Brien to third. Up to second base with a bloop double. Boomer White, 3-0 Falmouth here in the third.
Looked like White pulled that pitch, even though it was on the outer half of the plate, able to stretch it into left field. Jeremy Taylor, who's made highlight reel plays out in left field since becoming the everyday left fielder, dives just in front on his glove side, too, which is an easier play, you'd think, for an outfielder. Taylor can't make the grab, and as a result of the ball getting behind him, it scores a run.
Infield in, runners at second and third. First pitch to Jake Madsen, misses away for ball one. The Ohio University Bobcat, 1 for 1. Singled back in the second. Leftwich in the stretch, first base side, 1-0 offering. Fastball hits the high outside corner for a strike. Count even at 1-1. O'Brien at third, White at second. 3-0 Falmouth here in the top of the third. Commodores have pushed across two on singles from Kevin Newman and a double from Boomer White. 1-1 offering. Fastball, outside paint, taken for a strike. 1-2. Home plate umpire John Leeds. Let's just say he doesn't have the most emphatic strike call that we've ever seen. Very nonchalant. Almost can't even tell verbally if it's a strike or not. 1-2 on the way. Madsen pokes it out of play to the left side over the Kettleer kitchen. We'll do the 1-2 again.
So when you combine the idea that he doesn't have an emphatic strike call or ball call with also a pretty open zone, it becomes tough for our viewers as well as us to determine what the pitch is.
Leftwich sets at the letters, delivers the 1-2. Madsen fouls it straight back to the screen. It hits the chain link fence. We'll do the 1-2 once again.
This has the makes of a very dangerous hitting because Madsen has hit the ball so well in his previous 7 games that he might find a gap if Leftwich makes a mistake and make this a 5-run game.
1-2 offering. Madsen loops it foul down the left field line. Drops in foul ground over towards Kettleer team photographer Joe Cavanaugh, who took all of our pictures prior to today's ball game. I realized that my intern picture 2 years in a row, I am wearing my Northwestern camo military hat.
It's time for a new hat.
1-2, Madsen loops it again, foul, this time over towards the Kettleer bullpen, where the left-hander from St. Joseph's College in Illinois, Jake Harper, begins to loosen.
Not that I don't like your hat, it's just, I think your hat makes for a very, it should be worn on rare occurrences, special events. That's how nice of a hat it is.
1-2 breaking ball, misses low and away. Count even up at 2-2. The thing about this hat, though, is that you can't buy it. This is a hat that was given to me by a friend with the Northwestern baseball team. They don't sell these to the public. 2-2 on the way from Leftwich. Madsen pops it up over the press box and out of play. The hat that everybody wanted, if you're a Northwestern student, that nobody could get because they didn't sell them either, was when Northwestern played Michigan at Wrigley Field back in 2013. There was a Northwestern purple hat with the white block end that had a Wrigley Field scoreboard logo on the side of the hat that commemorated that day's game.
Wow.
2-2 on the way. Hit on a line right to Kyle Holder. He drops the ball, but they rule Madsen out. The ball was dropped on the transfer, so Madsen out on the line out. Holder had a chance to double off Cameron O'Brien at third, but he dropped the ball, and O'Brien gets back to third safely.
You could see when Holder made the catch, he started to run towards third base, hoping to double off Cam O'Brien, but sometimes when you get your feet ahead of your hands, you mishandle the baseball.
First pitch to Sean Chase gets through the 5-hole of John Jennings, but he recovers before Cameron O'Brien can sprint home. 1-0 the count on Chase, who drew a walk in his first plate appearance. And Chase has since coming to the Cape League gained a new teammate. Or rather, a teammate in a different form. I'll explain that after this 1-0 on the way. Fastball high and into Chase, 2-0. Matt Uresti, who has played a lot of second base for Falmouth this year, from San Jacinto Community College, announced that he is transferring to Oregon, where Sean Chase plays baseball. 2-0, Chase swings and misses at a high inside heater. 2-1 the count, so Chase, along with Garrett Clevenger, have gained a new teammate.
Wonder how much of an impact this summer has had on that decision. Perhaps Chase and Clevenger have been that fun to be around for Uresti.
2-1, Chase chops it foul down the third base side. Count even at 2-2. Twos across the board, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the third. 3-0 Falmouth on an RBI single by Kevin Newman and an RBI double by Boomer White. Cameron O'Brien at third, Boomer White at second. Leftwich in the stretch, first base side of the rubber, sets, looks to third, delivers the 2-2. Check swing in the dirt. Jennings blocks it. Count goes to full.
And with Harper loosening, perhaps Leftwich only gets the third inning because on the scoreboard in the Kettleers dugout, Roberts has 1-2, 3-4, so in somewhere in between those numbers.
Payoff pitch. Chase hooks it down the third base line. Diving play by Drew Jackson. Fires across in time to get Sean Chase lumbering down the line. But the damage done, the Commodores get 2. We've played 2.5 here at Lowell Park. 3-0 Falmouth here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Comcast Channel 99 from Mashpee to Chatham and Channel 13 in Sandwich.
Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees.
Bottom of the third inning here at Lowell Park. Drew Jackson, Logan Taylor, and Kyle Holder due up against Matt Hollenbeck. 3-0 Falmouth here in the bottom of the third inning. Commodores got 1 in the top of the first. They got 2 in the last half inning. So Hollenbeck out for his third inning of work. the left-hander from Georgetown, faces off against Drew Jackson. Jackson, the Kettleer third baseman from Stanford, righty-lefty matchup. First pitch fastball hits the high outside corner for a strike, 0-1. Jackson has struggled on the season offensively, hitting at 190, 19 hits in exactly 100 at-bats. 0-1, Jackson chops it to second. Coming in, Morrison picks it up, flips to first in time to get Drew. So Jackson retired on 2 pitches. The order turns over for Logan Taylor.
And one time through the lineup now for Hollenbeck has allowed just 1 hit. Walked Trace Barrera back in the top of the first, so has been clean and has also retired 5 straight Kettleer hitters.
In games not against the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, the Kettleers only have 3 runs in their last 40 innings. Logan Taylor steps in. He grounded out to third to lead off the game. First pitch fastball on the way, misses high and away for ball 1. Taylor, as you mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Brendan, his 20-game on-base streak snapped on Friday. 1-0 on the way. Curveball misses low and away, ricochets off of Sean Chase's right shin guard and goes directly sideways into the Kettleers dugout. Count to 2-0 on Logan Taylor. Hollenbeck sets exclusively from the stretch. 2-0 fastball, swing and a miss. Tails high and away. Count to 2-1. Beautiful day here at Lowell Park. Late arriving crowd. This a makeup game. This was supposed to be the off day before the playoffs. The playoffs will now begin on Wednesday. Hollenbeck sets, delivers the 2-1. Taylor slices it down the right field line. Costello going back. This one sailing, and it's gone. Logan Taylor down the line, hits a home run out to right field. The wind keeps carrying it, lighted up. Kettleers within 2. It's 3-1 Falmouth. That's Taylor's 5th home run of the season. That leads the team.
He's been the most consistent hitter for the Kettleers in the last month. Logan Taylor going yard to the right side. A proper day to do it, especially when he's named offensive MVP.
Here's Kyle Holder, flew out to right, first at bat, first pitch fastball, hits the high corner for a strike on the outside, 0-1. Holder flew out to right, back in his first at bat in the first. Hollenbeck, the left-hander, delivers. Curveball misses high and in, count even at 1. So Logan Taylor, the new team MVP, now leads the team with 5 home runs and 19 RBIs. 1-1 curveball misses low and away. Count to 2-1 on Holder. Shortstop from San Diego. Holds the bat over his left shoulder. Holder pops the 2-1 up to shallow center field. Coming in on it is Duggar. Ranges to his left. Settles under it. Makes the catch for out number 2. Holder now 0 for 2. That brings up Trace Barrera. Barrera does not have an official at-bat today. He walked and advanced to second back in the first. 3-1 Falmouth. Kettleers get their lone run on the Logan Taylor solo shot to right. First pitch, swing and a miss. Pulled the string on Barrera. Nice changeup from Hollenbeck. 0-1 the count on the Kettleer first baseman from Texas. Third base side of the rubber, Hollenbeck delivers the 0-1. Fastball hits the high outside corner for a strike. Count to 0-2. Infield back at all spots for the Commodores. Outfield ranging normal depth. Hollenbeck stares in, gets the sign, sets at the letters, and delivers the 0-2. Fastball high and away. 1-2 the count. Kettleers will be at Arnie Allen Diamond tomorrow for the back end of this home and home with the Falmouth Commodores. Playoffs will begin on Wednesday. Kettleers, one of 3 playoff teams that will not have an off day before the playoffs begin. 1-2, fastball, misses low and away. Count even up at 2-2 on Trace Barrera. Kettleers, the Falmouth Commodores, and the Bourne Braves will all be without rest because none of those teams played yesterday. 2-2, swing and a miss. Hollenbeck pumps gas and gets Barrera swinging. But the Kettleers get one back on a solo shot to right field by Logan Taylor. We've played 3 at Lowell Park. 3-1 Falmouth here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years.
3-1 Falmouth as we go to the top of the 4th inning. Connor Costello leads it off against Luke Leftwich. First pitch on the way to Costello. Fastball misses low for ball 1. Commodores got 1 in the first, 2 in the third. Kettleers got their lone run on a solo shot by Logan Taylor in the last half inning. Costello 0 for 1. He grounded into a fielder's choice in the second. 1-0 fastball misses low and away. Costello in the driver's seat. 2-0 the count. Harper has stopped throwing in the pen for the Kettleers. 2-0 from Leftwich in the windup. Fastball hits the low outside corner for a strike. 2-1. Costello, the right fielder from Oklahoma State. 2-1 offering on the way. Fastball misses low. 3-1 the count. An Oklahoma State connection. Today is the anniversary of the famous Robin Ventura charging at Nolan Ryan game. 3-1, sliced foul out of play to the right side. Count goes to full 3-2. Robin Ventura for that time playing with the Chicago White Sox, and Nolan Ryan with the Texas Rangers. And he just charged after a hit by pitch. 3-2, swing and a miss. Fastball high and in. Costello offers. He's down on strikes. Order turns over for Trevor Morrison. And Mike Roberts is coming out to the mound, and he's making the call early. Jake Harper coming in for his Kettleers debut. The lefty from St. Joseph's College will be in right after this. 3-1 Falmouth here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years.
Jake Harper, the left-hander from St. Joseph's College in Illinois, comes in to face Trevor Morrison. First pitch swinging. Morrison chops it to first. Barrera picks it up, runs, tags the bag. And in his Kettleers debut, Harper has an out on the first guy he faces. 2 gone. Here in the fourth, 3-1 Falmouth leads Cotuit. Harper this season was a starter. 9 starts and 11 appearances. A 3.86 ERA, 2-2 in 53 2/3 innings. First pitch swinging. Steven Duggar. Logan Taylor charges on the ground at second to his left. Throws on to first. In time to get Duggar. A quick inning for Jake Harper. As we head to the bottom of the fourth inning, we're going to play you the back end of my interview earlier today with Kyle Lewis, the new arrival from Mercer. So here it is. Enjoy it. We'll be back right after this.
Bunt and steal bases, because that is what Coach Roberts likes most from a lot of his outfielders who, and you look at the outfielders on this roster, Jake Fincher, Jackson Glines, Jeremy Taylor, they all can bunt, they all can steal, they all got great speed. I assume you're one of the same?
I feel like my speed is above average, and I wasn't asked to bunt in Ohio a lot, but I definitely would be able to do it because in college ball that's a lot of what we focus on, so I think I'll be ready for it.
Now describe to me the feeling. Obviously this is not baseball related, but you attend Mercer, who as a 14 seed beat Duke in the first round of the NCAA tournament, a Duke team that a lot of people thought was going to make a run to the national title. Describe to me as a Mercer student what that experience was like.
Oh, that was nuts. We had a ball watching the game. We all went to Buffalo Wild Wings, and we were screaming at the TV, and everybody's filming us, and we really enjoyed that. The city went crazy, so I think it was a big boost for not only the basketball program, but for the school in general.
Now, what is your number one goal?
Jackson Glines steps in here in the bottom of the fourth inning. 3-1. Falmouth leads Cotuit. Lefty-lefty matchup. Hollenbeck delivers the first pitch to Glines. Breaking ball, misses low and away for ball 1. Glines 1 for 1. He is now 10 for his last 21. 1-0 breaking pitch, misses high, 2-0. Singled back in the first. Kettleers' second hit, or rather their first hit of that ball game. They have 2 hits. Glines hits it down the right field line. Hooking foul. Count to 2-1. Gets the green light on the 2-0. You heard in the Kyle Lewis interview, that Mercer-Duke game had to be very, very impressive for him as a fan, as a member of that institution. 2-1, fastball hits the inner paint. Count even to 2-2 on Jackson Glines. Hollenbeck sets, delivers the 2-2 to Glines. Glines hooks it foul down the first base side. We'll do the 2-2 again. Want to give a shout out to my parents. Scott Mraz and Claudia Held celebrating their 24th wedding anniversary here today. So Mom and Dad, I love you. Happy 24 years of marriage. And another great 24 to come. Glines at 2-2 right past Double B at first. First base coach Brian Bambanek. Count remains at 2-2. 24 years. Wow. Kind of hard for me to believe. I wasn't around for all of it, though. I'm only 22. 2-2 breaking ball, check swing. They say Glines goes around. Chase picks it up, throws to first. Glines retired for the first out of the fourth. Third strikeout for Matt Hollenbeck. Hollenbeck attends Georgetown. That's a school I definitely think my parents would have wanted me to go to. My broadcast partner, Brendan Glasheen, would probably say otherwise. He attends Syracuse, the biggest basketball rival for many years for the Georgetown Hoyas. First pitch breaking ball. Misses in the dirt to Jake Fincher, 1-0. Fincher struck out swinging back in the first. Georgetown this season, the last game they played, they lost in the Big East tournament to the DePaul Blue Demons, who had never won a tournament game as part of the Big East Conference. 1-0, swing and a miss. Fincher cuts through a curveball, 1-1 now. Granted, it was a new Big East, and DePaul was second to last in the conference this season. The poor Blue Demons. I feel bad for them. 1-1. Fincher. Breaking ball, misses low and in. The reason I bring up DePaul basketball, though, my grandfather played at DePaul back in the 1940s. He won the 1947 national title. Fincher's 2-1. Sliced foul out of play. So Georgetown, not much of a baseball school in the minds of many of the public. There is another Georgetown baseball player, Nick Collins, catcher for the Chatham Anglers. 2-2 on the way to Fincher. Fastball misses low and in. No! John leads. A late strike call on Jake Fincher. He can't believe it. Back-to-back strikeouts for Hollenbeck. And spanning back to the third inning, 3 straight strikeouts for the Georgetown lefty. So Hoya Saxa here in the fourth. Hollenbeck has 5 strikeouts on the ballgame. Jeremy Taylor steps up. He's one of those 5 strikeouts. First pitch breaking ball. Misses just high for ball 1. Georgetown basketball, I don't think, is ever going to be what it once was. Fastball right down the gut at 91, taking for a strike, count even at 1-1. Hale, step behind the grass at third. Steven Duggar shifted out slightly towards left center. 1-1 to Taylor. Fastball misses low and away, 2-1 the count. John Thompson III does not coach like his father. Let's just put it that way. Georgetown basketball, there could be some revival. 2-1, swing and a miss. The last tournament game, the count goes to 2-2, that Georgetown ever played was against Florida Gulf Coast, Dunk City. And the reason why that's important is the guy who probably will come in after Hollenbeck, 2-2 to Taylor, hits it on the ground to the right side. Madsen picks it up. Hollenbeck charges to first, covers in time to retire Jeremy Taylor. 1, 2, 3, go the Commodores, or the Kettleers, I should say. He goes to Florida Gulf Coast, does La Bezzetta, the team that Georgetown beat. We're through 4 at Lowell Park. Falmouth leads 3-1 here over Cotuit. Brendan Glasheen will be back with you for the top of the 5th inning, right after this on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank.
Heart of the order due up in the top of the fifth for the Falmouth Commodores. They lead 3-1 on the Katuitt Kettleers. Matt Harper returns for his first full inning of work. Fastball pounded down the right field line by Newman. It tails foul 0-1. Newman today 1 for 1. Singled back in the third, has scored 2 runs today. Entering the ball game as the CCBL's best hitter. According to batting average, 0-1 pitch. A changeup in the outer half. At 84 miles per hour, it's 0-2 for Harper. Tall left-hander from St. Joseph's College in Illinois. Holds the glove just in front of his face. As Jennings puts down the sign, 0-2 fastball, misses away. A ball and a strike on Newman. Won the batting title last year in 2013 with a .370 clip. Looking for a repeat performance. The first time we'd ever see that in the CCBL. 1-2 foul to the right. Count stays put. Harper staying ahead of Newman. Falmouth with 3 runs today, 2 back in the third, 1 in the first. Newman, of course, 2 runs have scored on his part. 1-2 curveball, dips low and away to the right-handed hitter from Arizona. 2-2. Kettleers got a solo home run from Logan Taylor in the third, his 5th of the year to lead the Kettleers ball club. Harper looks in for his sign from Jennings. Waves off a couple of pitches. 2-2 pitch. Fastball high. Jennings out of the crouch. It's now 3-2 on Newman. Newman, Hale, and O'Brien, the expected hitters for the Commodores. Here in the top of the fifth. Payoff pitch. 3-2 slice to the right into the trees. Foul. Newman continues to keep the bat on the baseball. Kettleers trying to climb back into the 3 spot of the Western Division standings with just 2 games to play. The last here at Lowell Park in the regular season. 3-2 chopped high on the ground. Holder has to back up on it, throwing the run over to first base, not in time to get the speedy Newman. He's on base for the 3rd time today, his 2nd base hit. A leadoff single for Falmouth here in the top of the 5th. 6th hit for the Commodores today. 3 runs scored. Katuitt, 2 hits, 1 run. Big third baseman from Louisiana State. Connor Hale climbs in on the right side. A slight open stance. A bright maroon bat. Takes a fastball in the outer half at 86. 0-1 on Hale. Struck out looking in his last at bat against Luke Leftwich. Harper a throw over to first. Barrera had to go to one knee to snag it. Count still holds at 0-1 on Hale. Drew Jackson even with the bag at third base. Jeremy Taylor shies well towards the left field line. 0-1. Goes off the left shin guard of Jennings. He can't find the baseball. And now all the way to third goes Kevin Newman. Jennings couldn't find it. Matt Harper yelling towards Jennings, his catcher, as to where the baseball went. Went all the way to the on-deck circle for Falmouth, where Cam O'Brien is standing. So 2 bases for Kevin Newman. That's the 5th base he's been able to snag today once he's reached first base. 2 stolen bases, 1 in the first, 1 in the third. Pitch popped up high down the right field line. A long run for Fincher. Can't make the basket catch in front of the Falmouth bullpen. Count 1-2 on Hale. Newman chatting with Drew Jackson, 2 returning Cape League players down the third base line. Harper gets a new baseball, stares in, sets by the chest, fires the 1-2. Fastball, bloop down the right field line. It's in front of Fincher, a base hit. Newman trots in as he stares down Fincher, the right fielder. A base hit for Connor Hale. Another RBI. RBI number 37 on the season, which leads the Cape League. 4-1 Commodores, but still nobody out in the top of the 5th. The bats of the Commodores have rolled right over from last season. An impressive afternoon to start. This season series tied at 2 games apiece. Harper now taking a couple of steps off the mound to regain his footing. Tripped himself up moments ago. First pitch on the way by O'Brien is fouled off the glove of Jackson, diving to his left. The throw across the diamond to first in time as Holder was able to pick it up and make a play at first to get O'Brien. So he's out. Hale's up to second with one away. Harper took a couple of steps off the mound prior to that pitch, literally hopped back on the mound and threw the ball right away to O'Brien. A line shot towards third. Jackson had to dive to his left. It went off of his glove. It trickled by Holder, the shortstop, able to make the play for out number one. First pitch to Boomer White, a changeup at 83 low and in. A ball and no strikes on White. 1 for 2 with an RBI double. That plated one of 2 runs in the third frame for the Doors. 1-0. This time it's away to the right-handed hitter. 2 balls, no strikes. On the Texas A&M transferee will become teammates with Kettleers second baseman Logan Taylor next spring, even though White is not eligible to play next spring. Due to eligibility transfer rules, change up away, 3-0 on White. Boomer just finished his sophomore stint at TCU. 3-0 pitch. Fastball, belt high, called a strike by home plate umpire John Leeds. 3-1 on White. Grounded to third to lead off the second. Doubled in the third frame. Waves the bat below his knees. It's back behind his head now. 3-1 pitch. He cuts it to the right side, and it lifts out of play. Full count. A breezy day here at Lowell Park. A calm breeze, though, with a blue sky, cloudless afternoon. 45 minutes past the 5 o'clock hour. 3-2. White slices it to right field. Fincher's on the run now, backpedaling a bit, makes the catch, tagging at second, Connor Hale. The throw cut off by Holder by the second base bag as Hale tags up to get to third base with 2 down. White retired on a fly out to Jake Fincher. 2 down for Jake Madsen. 5 plate appearances away from being eligible for a batting average title, competing with his teammate on the Commodores, Kevin Newman. Lit off the inning with a single. Fastball knee-high, called a strike. At 87 to Madsen, 1 for 2 in the game. Singled in the second, line to the shortstop, Kyle Holder in the third. Newman has scored 3 runs today, has singled twice. Madsen, a half-hearted swing, a change-up, called a strike. Good pitch from Parker. He sets by the letters. 0-2 pitch. Fastball away. 1-2. A long stare in to John Jennings, the catcher. He fires. Swing and a miss. Harper strikes him out. Down goes Jake Madsen to end the top of the 5th. Falmouth adds a run, though, to increase its lead to 3. We'll go to the home half. 4-1 Commodores on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank.
New pitcher into the ball game to begin the home half of the fifth inning here at Lowell Park. Commodores lead 4-1 on the Cotuit Kettleers. Matt Hollenbeck's day is done. And the new pitcher into the game for Falmouth is Ryan Mosley, sophomore from Texas Tech. Is 2-1 on the year, a 7.59 ERA. His 8th appearance, 5th out of the bullpen for the Commodores. Has logged 21 of the third innings pitched, has struck out 25 batters in those 21 innings plus, has walked 12 and allowed 19 hits. Opponents hitting .232 against the left-hander from Texas Tech. Right-handed hitter Kyle Lewis standing in as the DH, takes a fastball inside. The new member of the Kettleers, rated the #1 prospect in the Great Lakes League this past summer. 1-0 pitch. Fastball hit on the ground over to short. Newman fielded on a tough hop. Throw to first. High but caught by Madsen for out number 1. Hit the lip of the grass and it bounced right into the chest of Newman. Able to throw out Lewis. He's retired twice today now. Once via a fly out and another via a ground out. Player of the Year in the Great Lakes League has been retired twice. It brings up John Jennings. He's 0 for 2 to start the season with the Kettleers. Fastball below the knees, called a strike at 91. Right-handed hitter from UMass Amherst. A highly sought recruit in the Northeast. 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. A dipping fastball from Mosley. The funny thing about John Jennings is that he pitched and played third base in high school with Newton South. A Massachusetts native, was an easy guy to contact to come up for the rest of the season. 0-2 to Jennings. Swing and a miss. Mosley comes in firing. A changeup that dips low and in. Gets Jennings on his shoe tops for out number 2. But when you look at the total package that Jennings presents, was recruited out of high school as a true freshman by UMass head coach Mike Stone. First pitch to Drew Jackson. Fastball away. 1-0 on Drew. Jennings was a turnaround player for the Newton South program. In 234 appearances at first as the pitch misses away. 2-0. In 234 career chances over at first base with Newton South, he did not commit a single error. Was in the starting rotation, played first, played third, was recruited as a catcher by Mike Stone. Swing and a miss, a changeup inside to Jackson. 2-1 with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. Falmouth leads Cotuit 4-1. Mike Stone felt like he could convert Jennings into a catcher, and it's worked out for the better. 2-1 pitch, chopped on the dirt over to third base. Hale backs up a foot by the third base bag. Throw to first in time to retire Jackson. Cotuit retired in order 7, 8, and 9. We'll go to the 6th. It's 4-1 Commodores on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleears and Kentuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleears Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees.
As we head to the top of the sixth inning, Jake Harper's day is done. The new man on, and this was not originally part of the scheduled staff day rotation, is Andrew Schwab, wearing number 36. A right-handed submariner, or side armor I should say, from Missouri. Schwab this season with the Danbury Westerners of the NECBL, 34 and a third innings pitched, a 2.09 ERA, 8 earned runs. First pitch, Sean Chase hits it high to left field. Jeremy Taylor goes back, now charges in, ranges to his left, makes the catch for out number 1. So 1 pitch, 1 out for Andrew Schwab. But with Danbury this season, he led the Westerners in ERA at 2.09, had 4 starts, 6 relief appearances, 31 total hits allowed, 14 runs, 8 of them earned, 10 walks to 25 strikeouts. He was 0-2 with a save to boot. First pitch swinging, Connor Costello chops it foul in front of home plate. 0-1 the count. Costello 0-2, grounded into a fielder's choice and struck out. Schwab from Missouri, the second Missouri pitcher in the CCBL. 0-1, sweeping curve, misses high and away. Count even at 1-1. The other is Peter Fairbanks of Hyannis, who coincidentally was a late week addition, last week addition last year. 1-1 hooked fair down the third base side, goes into the corner. Taylor digs it out. Costello slides into second base with a 1-out double. So Connor Costello tries to extend the Falmouth lead. It's 4-1 now here in the sixth. Brings up Trevor Morrison. So Schwab, a guy that has a deceiving arm angle, throws a fastball, change-up curve combination, gets a lot of movement on his pitches. He's in the stretch, first base side of the rubber, looks back at second. Wears number 36, first pitch on the way, check swing, and Morrison goes around for a strike. We actually have 2 of our guys up here now. We'll bring them on, Nick Eicholtz and Sean Beckman. Eicholtz will come in. Schwab sets at the letters, looks back at second. 0-1 on the way to Morrison, fastball misses high and away. Neither of them can decide which one of them actually wants to come on. And hey, it's going to be Sean Beckman. So, first of all, Sean, the transferee to USC, joins us up here in the broadcast booth. And first pitch on the way from Schwab, 1-1. Sweeps to the inside, called strike, 1-2. I saw you were part of Pitchers BP today.
We were.
Now, you're not a big guy, but you still had some pretty good pop. Did you hit a lot in high school, and were you a pretty good hitter?
You know, I did. Unfortunately, when you get into your senior year, they stopped letting us hit. So that was basically the last time I've hit since then. So
1-2 misses low to Connor Costello, 2-2 the count. Now, your injury that you suffered at Bourne, is that fully recovered on your hand, or are you...
You know, it is. It was in my shoulder cuff, and everything, it was just an inflamed muscle, and so we got that one taken care of, and luckily I was taken care of through the team, so everything's good to go.
Bring him up, strike 3 called. Morrison goes back to the dugout, 2 outs for Steven Duggar. But when you have something like that, what is the rehab process like when you're out here in the summer, you're not with your normal team doctors. So obviously Craig Moody is the master. He's a great trainer and all of that good jazz. First pitch swing and a miss by Steven Duggar. Duggar 1 for 3 with a run scored. How do you approach the rehab process?
It's just it's taking everything in moderation. You just kind of solicit the issue, and then you kind of go from there to find out what the problem is, and that's kind of what we ended up doing, and found out that it was inflamed muscles, so we ended up getting it worked out, and everything's good to go.
0-1, misses high and away to Duggar. Now, on a completely different topic, I saw you guys at Cool Cone in Wareham after Friday night's game. 1-1 misses outside, 2-1 the count. That place is pretty cool, so what did you get in terms of your food, and what was your choice of ice cream?
I didn't get any ice cream, unfortunately.
What?
I know. I ended up doing a combo of a cheeseburger and a hot dog, and it was pretty good. It was nice that it was free, so you can't complain about that.
2-1, Looper into center field. Glines ranges to his right, makes the catch for out number 3. A scoreless first inning for Andrew Schwab. We'll keep it here with Sean Beckman before we bring on Nick Eichholz. But before we let you go and bring on Nick, would you like to give any shout-outs as a tradition up here in the booth?
Yeah, I'll give out a shout-out to my boy, Travis Duke. He's supposed to be up here with us, and he was denied.
Denied. Wow.
Left behind.
Wow. He cannot be happy about that. So
definitely not.
So Dookie does not get to come up in the booth. Thank you so much for joining us here, Sean. And we'll bring on Nick Eichholz. Nick, the righty from Alabama, who pitched in the Kettleers' last game, which seems like eons ago. Wonder what type of unit of measurement is an eon. Do you know what type of measurement an eon is?
You're not asking
Nick?
the right guy, no.
No eons? All right, well, I won't blame you too much. It's like a time back in the time of the dinosaurs or anything, but anywho, you go 6 innings against Wareham. You give up a 4-run inning, but in your other 5 innings, you didn't allow a base runner. How do you feel as a pitcher about a start where you were essentially perfect for over 80% of the start, yet the stats don't really reflect that because 1 inning killed your entire stat line?
I felt good, obviously disappointed a little bit in the second inning, but I was proud of myself how I rebounded and came back from that and showed mental toughness after that.
Now, what do you think was the best part in terms of how you approached the Wareham lineup? Because you established your fastball, you were not missing high, which sometimes when you've missed high, that's when you've struggled and you've issued walks. You didn't have any walk issues. You kept it low in the zone. What in your mechanics allows you to keep it low in the zone?
Just when I drive through the ball and stay behind the ball. When I fall off to the side, that's when I start missing up and start getting hit. But when I live down in the bottom of the zone, I can pitch against anybody.
First batter, Logan Taylor. Righty-righty matchup. First pitch, it hits him on the left hip. And Taylor will walk down to first. So a hit by pitch to lead off the 6th. 4-1. Falmouth leads Katuitt. I see you're checking out my broadcast partner, Brendan Glasheen's sunglasses.
Those are nice.
They're very nice. Do you have a pair of really nice sunglasses, or?
I don't. I'm not a sunglass guy, actually.
Not a sunglass guy, huh?
No.
Try and get mine every day.
Well, that's for other reasons.
Kyle Holder steps in, pair of flyouts. First pitch on the way to Kyle Holder. Fastball hits the low outside corner for a strike. 0-1 on the shortstop from San Diego. Mosley sets in the stretch, the righty from Texas Tech. Holder chops it off.
Who you texting over there?
Texting nobody.
Okay, just wondering. Making sure it wasn't the girl from Alabama.
I don't know any girls from Alabama.
Oh, yes you do. What about the one I introduced you to?
Yes, then that's probably the case.
Is it her? Yes.
You're incriminating me. I plead the fifth in this one. Mosley delivers on the way to Holder, the 0-2. Fastball misses low and away. Well, one of the players for the team she broadcast for, the Danbury Westerners, Andrew Schwab, is now one of your new bullpen mates. So
we talked about that situation.
Is this something that should really be going over the air? Who cares? It's not incriminating anybody except for me.
We've had worse.
Well, I hope. This has been fun. Awkward for me, but fun.
It's always fun.
1 and 2 on the way to Kyle Holder. Ryan Mosley stares over at first. Logan Taylor takes his lead. 4-1. Mosley delivers the 1-2. Holder on the ground is short. Could be 2. Newman picks it up, flips to second for 1. On to first in time. Double play. A 6-4-3 DP to end the inning. Well, Nick, we appreciate you coming on. It's always fun to have you. And
there's 2 outs. Trying to get rid of me.
That's embarrassing. Well then, there's only 2 outs.
Only 2 outs, and we got an emoji in the next text message that she sent you.
Oh,
emojis are a good sign.
Here comes Trace Barrera. Barrera 0-for-1 with a strikeout and a walk. First pitch on the way from Mosley, the Texas Tech right-hander, delivers, and Barrera swings through a fastball, low and in, 0-1 the count. It's good multitasking on my part, though.
Are you flustered?
You flustered me. 0-1, change-up, 0-2 the count. Barrera swings through it.
Let me approve before.
Time called, and Barrera steps out.
We're taking a selfie and sending it to her.
Okay, I can deal with that. We can do that. 0-2 on the way. Barrera swings and misses. That's strike 3. Well, Nick, we appreciate you coming up in the booth, but before you go, it is time to take that selfie. So there you go. Nick, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
That was Nick Eicholtz and Sean Beckman. Through 6, 4-1, Falmouth. We'll be back right after this.
Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years.
A perfect inning for Andrew Schwab. New pitcher on is the righty from Wofford, Will Stillman. 4-1 Falmouth. Heart of the order due up for the Commodores. First pitch on the way from Stillman to Newman. Fastball hits the outer paint for a strike. 0-1. Newman, 2 for 2. 3 runs scored. He has scored 3 of Falmouth's 4 runs. 0-1 on the way. Curveball hits the outer paint for a strike. 0-2 the count. Newman is now 10 for 16 against Cotuit this season, hitting close to .666. 0-2 on the way. Fastball misses low and away. Stillman still ahead in the count, 1-2. Trying to retire Kevin Newman for the first time today. Jackson in on the grass at third. Breaking ball in the dirt, blocked by the new catcher, Ian Rice. Rice has come in defensively for John Jennings. I have a feeling that passed ball that allowed Kevin Newman to go from first to third may have been a reason why Mike Roberts decided to make a move behind the plate. Stillman winds, kicks, delivers a 2-2 to Newman. Newman loops it out into shallow left center field. Jackson Glines charges to his right. It falls in front of him, a leadoff single for Kevin Newman. Newman is 3 for 3. He's reached base all 4 times.
You know, when the Kettleers and Commodores meet every season, the first series to start the year is a home and home, and the last series is a home and home. So there's quite the gap in which we see Kevin Newman. And if Kettleer fans were not reminded of how good this guy has been against them, 8 for 14 entering today, well, a 3 for 3 effort with a walk, 3 runs scored. This guy has dominated the league and Katuitt.
First pitch fastball hits the low outside corner for a strike to Connor Hale. Hale is 2 for 3. He has a pair of RBI singles, both of them driving in Kevin Newman. The funny part about Kevin Newman, though, against the Katuitt Kettleers, 0-1. Stillman picks the first. Barrera holds him on. Taylor shifted over towards the second base bag. Jackson still in on the grass at third. Kevin Newman, for most of the month of June, most of the end part of the month of June, left Falmouth to join Team USA. 0-1 breaking ball hits the low outside corner for a strike. 0-2. His first game back was July 2nd. The first time the Kettleers played the Commodores this season was not until July 3rd. 0-2, swing and a miss. Nice fastball from Stillman. Hale goes fishing. He's 2 for 4 with a pair of RBI singles and a pair of strikeouts. One of the swinging and one of the looking variety. One gone for Cameron O'Brien. But unlike a lot of teams who had a break from having to face Kevin Newman while he was gone with Team USA, well, the Kettleers have seen him pretty much every single time. Pick to first. Back safely.
I guess the thing that stands out is like what I said. I mean, a home and home to start the year, a home and home to end the year. You only see the kid twice. And he's dominated every time.
Fastball. Misses high and away to Cameron O'Brien. O'Brien grounded into a 5-6-3 one-out play as Drew Jackson dove for the ball to his left. It deflected off his glove. Kyle Holder picked it up and fired it in time to retire Cameron O'Brien. Throw over to first. Newman back in safely once again. Newman also has a stolen base today and has advanced 3 bags on wild pitches. Stillman in the stretch, third base side. 1-0. Fastball misses low. 2-0 the count. I could imagine if this game remains at 4-1 Falmouth, that Adam Witt, who was scheduled, might not throw because Andrew Schwab did come in and throw. 2-0 on the way. Pop up over the screen behind us. Counts 2-1. We would give you a Coca-Cola of Cape Cod scoreboard update around this time, but there really isn't any other action going on. YD and Hyannis and Bourne and Wareham both just getting underway at their respective parks. Pick the first. Back safely, Kevin Newman. The real interesting race is in the Eastern Division. The race for the final playoff spot. 2-1 on the way. Fastball misses away. Count to 3-1. If the season ended yesterday, Brewster would be in the playoffs by virtue of their 2-0 win over Harwich, in which they only had 3 hits, but still garnered 2 runs. Runner going, fastball misses high, doesn't matter, it's ball 4. A 1-out walk drawn by Cameron O'Brien. Runners at first and second with 1 out for Boomer White.
Brewster at Harwich tonight at 7 o'clock. Chapman Orleans at Eldridge Park tonight are at 7. Now, 3 games last night did happen. Brewster and Harwich happened last night. Brewster won 2-0, as you said, and of course Orleans and Chatham called after 5 innings due to a fog.
Stillman delivers to Boomer White. First pitch swinging, hits it high out of play to the right side, 0-1. White, an RBI double, back in the third.
With Brewster having just a 1-point lead on Chatham, a Brewster loss and a Chatham win would get Chatham back in the playoffs. A Brewster win today or a Chatham loss gives the Whitecaps the win. It gives them the division.
0-1, curveball misses outside. 1-1 the count to White. But an interesting development, though, with Brewster. Rumor has it that they do not have enough position players left on their roster, as many players were scheduled to go home. 1-1, fastball at the knees, taken for a strike 1-2 to Boomer White. Rumor has it that there will be several pitchers playing in the field tonight for the Whitecaps. So John Altabelli has his hands full. Stillman sets, looks back at second at Kevin Newman. Kicks, delivers the 1-2 to White. Curveball, misses high, count even at 2.
That's just a cluster of different players coming in. They've added 3 players today.
Two on the way. Stillman kicks, delivers. White hits it out hard to right field. Fincher on his horse to his right makes the catch. Tagging at second, heading to third, Kevin Newman. A strong throw from Jake Fincher bounces in on one hop to Drew Jackson. So Newman moves over to third. 2 outs. 4-1 Commodores here in the top of the 7th.
Brewster has brought in catcher Cam Oliveira from southern New Hampshire, hometown of Tewksbury, Massachusetts. Do you know which Kettleer board member is from Tewksbury, Mass?
I believe that's Richard Sawyer.
That's right.
Although he was originally born in New Hampshire.
Lives in Tewksbury now. Well, aside from the Cape League.
First pitch on the way to Jake Madsen. Fastball misses low. Runners at the corners with 2 outs. 4-1 Commodores. But southern New Hampshire, he'll be battery mates now with Whitecap pitcher Joe McCarthy, who threw 5 innings of shutout ball yesterday for the Whitecaps. 1-0 offering. Madsen, fastball hits the high outside corner. Count even at 1-1.
They've also brought in infielder A.J. Ryan from Dayton and outfielder Logan Pearson from Missouri.
Stillman looks over to first. O'Brien, short lead. Barrera holds him on. 1-1 offering to Madsen. Curveball in the dirt, gets away from Rice. Newman decides to jump 2 steps down the third base line, but scooters back to third. Another Mizzou player being added. Lots of Missouri Tigers being added to a variety of teams in the final couple of days here of the Cape League season. 2-1 offering on the way. Chopper up the middle. Taylor has to charge to his left. Slow roller flips with the glove in time to get Jake Madsen. An impressive play by Logan Taylor. Charging, didn't have enough room to make a play, and that retires this side. We'll head to the bottom of the 7th inning. 4-1. Falmouth leads Katuitt here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network and Comcast Channel 99 from Mashpee to Chatham and Channel 13 in Sandwich.
Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years.
Jackson Klein steps to the plate. New pitcher on for the Falmouth Commodores is the left-hander, who the Kettleers have faced before from Wesleyan, Nick Cooney. Klein steps in. The hot-hitting Jackson Kleins, 1 for 2 on the ball game, singled back in the first. Cooney in the windup, kicks. The left-hander delivers the first pitch to Kleins. Fastball, high outside part of the zone for strike one.
Cooney makes his 11th appearance on the year. 9th out of the bullpen for Falmouth.
Kleins hits the 0-1 high and deep to right field. Costello going back, ranges to his right, settles under it, makes the catch about 3 steps in front of the fence. Kleins tags third, and he's going to do 3/4 of a home run trot. He keeps running to third, but instead of turning home, he'll just go into the dugout.
Cooney entering today with 17 innings pitched, has allowed 13 hits, 9 runs, 8 of them earned. He's walked 10 and struck out 17. The ERA at 4.24.
Brings up Jake Fincher. First pitch, fastball misses low and in for ball 1. Fincher on the ball game, a pair of strikeouts, 1 swinging back in the first, 1 looking back in the fourth. Kick and the 1-0. Fincher hits on the ground to the right side through the hole, a base hit. Fincher now 1 for 3, and the Kettleers have their first base runner via a hit since Logan Taylor's home run back in the third. That's only the 3rd Kettleers hit on the ball game. Commodores have 9. Kettleers with 3. Jordan Ebert's going to grab a bat and hit for Jeremy Taylor here. Coach Roberts playing the righty-lefty matchup. Ebert, who played outfield all year at Auburn, might come in and play some outfield here. So Ebert, who has played all of second base since he's been with the Kettleers, will stand in, hitting at .265, 13 hits in 49 at-bats. The 2014 SEC batting leader hit .353 this season with the Auburn Tigers. Righty-lefty matchup, Connor Hale even with the bag at third. Madsen holds on, Jake Fincher at first. Cooney delivers, first pitch, bunt showed. Fastball hits the inside paint for a strike, 0-1. Ebert crowding home plate just a bit. Shadows starting to creep in over the left side of the field. 0-1 from Cooney, fastball right down Broadway. Taking for a strike, 0-2. Cooney, as we said, attends Wesleyan, located in Hartford, Connecticut. Just down Highway 84, about a 3-hour drive here from the Cape. Cooney looks over to first. 0-2 on the way. Ebert hits on the ground, third base side, rolls foul. Reason I know that is I did that drive earlier this year. On an off day, I went down to see my buddy who lives in Bristol, which is only about 20 minutes south of Hartford.
Got a round of golf in.
That I did. Gillette Ridge Golf Club in Bloomfield, Connecticut. 0-2, Ebert hits it hard down the right field line, but slicing foul towards the Falmouth bullpen. Count remains 0-2 on Ebert. Cooney in the stretch. Left-hander, first base side of the rubber. Sets at the belt. Short lead at first for Fincher. 0-2, fouled straight back. We'll do the 0-2 again. On deck, Kyle Lewis, the DH from Mercer.
You mentioned Adam Witt potentially being held off today, considering the Kettleers are trailing 4-1. Well, Adam Witt is now loosening in the Kettleers bullpen.
If Witt pitches today, I imagine he will not pitch tomorrow. 0-2 on the way. Ebert hits it high, out of play to the right side. 0-2, the count remains.
Considering he pitches late in games as a 7th, 8th, 9th inning guy, you'd still have him available for Wednesday once the playoffs begin.
Cooney. Deep breath, delivers the 0-2. Fastball, ring him up, strike 3 called. Ebert thought that one was inside. He walks back to the dugout. 2 gone here in the 7th for Kyle Lewis. Chase goes out, has a chat with Cooney. Lewis on the day flew out to center field and grounded out to short. Lewis wears number 7, which was the number worn by Jamison Fisher for the entirety of the season. If Jamison is listening, hopefully you're listening, Jamison. We miss you. And hope you're getting better with your back.
He worked his tail off for this team.
First pitch on the way to Lewis, swing and a miss. Fastball tails high and away. The right-handed hitting Lewis cuts through the cheese. 0-1 the count.
Not sure about road games, but before every Kettleers home game, Jamison Fisher would be the last one at the park because he went to physical therapy. He stayed committed, and as it turns out, the back was just flaming out for him that he had to return home to take care of business.
Fisher, one of 3 Southeastern Louisiana players to start the year in the Cape League. There's only one of them left. 0-1, fastball misses high and away. Count even at 1-1. Tate Cieno, the starting pitcher for Hyannis, has since gone home. The only one left is Mason Klotz, former Cotuit Kettleer, now Born Brave. Left-hander Cooney sets. Fincher short lead at first. Madsen holds him on. Lewis hits the 1-1 to shallow center. Duggar charges in on it. Straight away, makes the catch, and will run back into the dugout. He flips the ball to Kevin Newman for out number 3. A 1-out single, but the Kettleers do nothing with it. After 7, 4-1. Cotuit trails the Falmouth Commodores. Brendan Glasheen to take you home here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit.
We're back at Lowell Park, start of the 8th inning. Will Stillman back on the hill for the Kettleers. First pitch fastball high and outside to Sean Chase, catcher from Oregon, making his debut against the Kettleers today. 1-0 pitch, a bender that cuts north to south over the heart of home plate. 1-1.
Some defensive changes of note for the Cotuit Kettleers. We'll give them to you after this 1-1.
1-1 to Chase. Another changeup. This time it locks him at the knees. Chase took his stride towards home plate, but takes the pitch, 1-2.
Ebert now at second base.
Stillman winds, 1-2 pitch inside, 2-2.
Jordan Ebert takes over at second base. Logan Taylor moves to third. And a new position for Drew Jackson. He's now out in left field.
2-2 on the way. Here it is. It bends out of home plate. 3 balls, 2 strikes. It's funny. You'd think Jordan Ebert would have an opportunity to play some outfield. Ebert, if you recall, started last year with the Brewster Whitecaps. He played the first 4 games under John Altobelli. Fastball, outside corner, called a strike. That's strike 3. Chase thought he had ball 4. He trots back with a strikeout. He's down looking for the first out of the 8th, but Ebert, the SEC's best hitter this year, will remain at second. Mike Roberts now out to the mound to replace Will Stillman. And the Vulture is coming in from left field. Adam Witt to likely close this ball game for the Kettleers, even though Cotuit trails. 1 out, 8th inning, 1 out. Cotuit trails 4-1 to the Falmouth Commodores. More on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network after this.
Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally...
Pitching change on hand is the 6th pitcher for the Kettleers tonight. Adam Witt checks in after the strikeout to Sean Chase. First pitch, a curveball low and away at 86. 1-0 on Connor Costello.
Witt was voted the team's MVP pitcher as announced before the game here at Lowell Park today.
1-0 pitch, it plunks Costello on the thigh. He trots down to first base, a one-out base runner for Falmouth here in the 8th. It's 4-1 Commodores. They're in the driver's seat to take the season series lead 3-2. Tomorrow will conclude the season series. We'll be at Arnie Allen Diamond in Falmouth tomorrow off Route 28. Adam Witt sets, first pitch, a fastball upstairs and in. Called a strike, though, at the belt to Trevor Morrison. Left-handed hitter, plays second base. He's from Oregon State. He's 0 for 4 today in the leadoff spot under Jeff Trundy. He stands at the top step of the Falmouth dugout. 0-1 changeup, misses away. Ian Rice snags it 1-1.
Witt is now tied with Justin Hakame for wins in the Cape Cod Baseball League with 5. A 1.05 ERA. This is his 19th appearance, 34 and a third innings pitched, 19 hits, 5 runs, 4 of them earned.
1-1 fastball, swing and a miss. Witt elevates. 1-2. I believe also with Adam Witt, I'm not sure what the source is, but he's very close to being eligible with the innings limit as a Cy Young candidate, or in other words, pitcher of the year in the Cape League. Nice pitch there. A slider cuts left to right. Strike 3 called. Morrison goes down looking. Third strikeout today, second of the looking variety. So, no, he is not a Cy Young candidate. I should have rephrased my words there. He is not a major leaguer quite yet, even though he's been up to no good against opposing players. Fastball runs inside to Steven Duggar, left-handed hitter from Clemson. 1 for 4 in the ball game, a couple of ground outs and a fly out in the 6th. He singled and scored in the 3rd. Tugger lets the bat wave out in front. A very similar batting stance to Cotuit's own Brendan Hendricks. 1-0. Fastball high. Ian Rice out of the crouch. 2 balls, no strikes. So you look at Adam Witt on the year for the Kettleers. 34 1/3 innings pitched. I'm not positive as to what the limit is. Fastball chopped right back at Witt. He fields. Will go to the first base bag for the sure out. A flip from the hand retires the side. We'll have more on Mr. Witt as he'll likely return for the 9th inning. However, the Kettleers have some work to do offensively. Home half of the 8th coming up. Cotuit trails 4-1 to the Falmouth Commodores. Kettleers baseball plays right here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want...
Bottom of the 8th at Lowell Park, a 4-1 score in favor of the Falmouth Commodores. Meeting number 5 of the season between Falmouth and Cotuit, coming to an end quickly based on the pace of this game. For the Kettleers, 8-9-1 expected against the new pitcher, Kevin Mooney.
Kevin Mooney, the right-hander from Maryland, a second-year Falmouth Commodore. Mooney has struggled. This is his 15th appearance, a 2-1 record, 3 saves, 15 2/3 innings pitched on the year, 14 hits, 14 runs, 8 of them earned, 6 walks, and 18 strikeouts. A 2-1 record to boot.
Rice steps in on the right side, catcher from Chipola College. Looks at a fastball low and away. 1-0, Mooney falls behind early. Ian Rice will transfer to Houston this coming fall. Nursed a concussion injury in the middle of the season, back and healthy for the last 2 weeks or so. Fastball up and in. 2 balls, no strikes. Mooney winds, the righty kicks and deals. 2-0, called the fastball in the outer half at 94. 9 hits, 4 runs for Falmouth, just 3 hits for the Kettleers on 1 run scored. 2-1 pitch. Fastball nailed to left. It goes way back. Get out of town. Ian Rice, a solo shot to bring Cotuit within 2. Now the crowd reacts. Slowly but surely, the Cotuit fans pick up on that shot by Rice. 4-2 here in the 8th with nobody out.
The Kettleers have 4 hits today, 2 of them home runs, both of their runs coming on home runs. So the offense, other than the long ball, has been pretty silent.
The fans were silent as well. It took them a while to start clapping. No offense to the Kettleers, it's been a boring game offensively. Pitch called to strike on the outer half to Drew Jackson. No balls and a strike to the third baseman from Stanford. But when a ball's hit that loudly, certainly wakes up the crowd. 0-1, a fastball misses away. A ball and a strike to Jackson. He's 0 for 2 with a pair of groundouts. 4-2 now. A Rice solo shot. Logan Taylor hit a solo shot back in the third. 1-1 change up on the outer half. Ball and 2 strikes on Drew.
Jackson is now the only Kettleer to play 5 different positions during the 2014 Cape League season.
Took over in left field last half inning. 1-2 pitch. Fastball away. 2-2.
Him and Logan Taylor had both each played third, short, second, and right before Jackson took over in left.
Versatility should always come back and help you in the long run. 2-2, he slices it to the right side foul. Just over the netting above Falmouth's dugout. Count holds.
There's a former Major League pitcher. He pitched for the Red Sox back in the day, Bill Spaceman Lee. And there's an independent league team in California, the San Rafael Pacifics, actually in my hometown.
2-2 to Jackson. Fastball outside corner, strike 3 called. Jackson slams his bat in disappointment. He's down for out number 1. Here in the 8th, it's 4-2 Falmouth. Ian Rice a solo shot to begin the inning.
But the gimmick was last year, and it was funny because 2 days later they brought in the Soup Nazi from Seinfeld to throw out the first pitch, which I thought was a pretty fun little giveaway, is that Bill Spaceman Lee, an old 65-year-old, semi-overweight at this point, left-handed pitcher who never really threw that hard.
Another guy with a home run today, Logan Taylor, looks at a dropping curveball over the heart of home plate, drops in at the knees. No balls and a strike. Texas A&M shortstop.
2 years ago, they brought in Spaceman Lee, and he threw a complete game.
0-1, almost the same pitch. This time it's away to the right-handed hitter Taylor, 1-1.
But the gimmick is that Bill Spaceman Lee would play all 9 positions in a 9-inning game.
It's funny you mentioned that as Mooney winds. Fastball misses away off the glove of Sean Chase. Scott Heineman, outfielder from Oregon, in the Brewster Whitecaps season finale last year, played every position for Brewster in their season ender against the Harwich Mariners at White House Field. 2-1 sliced into the backstop foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Heineman played in left field to start the game, worked left to right, then went around the horn, third all the way to first, caught for a half inning, and then he pitched the 9th. Brewster did end up losing the game, but the Cape League has definitely been consumed by it. 2-2, curveball outside. Count runs full on Logan Taylor. So that is something very interesting. And a guy like Logan Taylor, you mentioned Drew Jackson, these guys have played all over the place in multiple games. Well, you mentioned those greats as well as Heineman as Taylor swipes it on the ground, picked up by Kevin Newman, throw across in time. And no, he's called safe. First base umpire Mark Delaney says Madsen was off the bag at first. A sure out based on the throw. Madsen even held up the glove, but I don't think it was his glove that was the problem. His foot was off the bag. Now Jeff Trundy out to talk with first base umpire Delaney.
That's a call that was very borderline. Madsen had to reach for it, but he didn't look like he reached to the point where his foot came completely off the bag. Now, the umpires are having a discussion. Just home plate umpire John Leeds and Mark Delaney.
And now Taylor's ruled out. John Leeds assists his partner Delaney down the first base line. Now Brian Bamenek, the first base coach for Katuitt, has some words for Mark Delaney. And now here comes Mike Roberts from the third base line. You'd have to think that Brian Bamenek would not be the last guy to say something here. And now Roberts is over to talk with Leeds for the prime reason that he helped Delaney make the call. So that's why Roberts is Leeds' face. And now Kyle Holder and Logan Taylor are chatting outside the left-handed batting box. Holder now will come to the plate for the Kettleers. As Roberts and Leeds continue the discussion, Kevin Mooney now wants to play catch with Jake Madsen at first base because he can't stand the delay. 4-2 ball game with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. The Kettleers have notched both their runs on solo home runs.
But getting back to,
Logan Taylor in the 3rd inning, Ian Rice in the 8th inning. And now here comes Delaney. He'll join the conversation with Leeds. Roberts can't believe it. Now he's backpedaling towards the 3rd base coaching box. Leeds just ignoring him now. Roberts has both his hands up in the air saying, "What are you talking about?" So now with 2 outs, space is cleared. And Kyle Holder steps in. Big swing and a miss, a high fastball. Holder today 0 for 3.
But Bill Spaceman Lee, unlike those guys you mentioned, he played all 9 positions as a left-handed player.
That's rare. Change up, called a strike, 1-1 on Holder.
Could you imagine a left-handed throwing shortstop or second baseman?
How about a catcher? Unheard of. The 1-1 on the way to Kyle. Fastball nubbed on the ground, picked up by Mooney. He'll hold the ball in front of his face to show Madsen because of the sun. He flips and records the out. Katuitt goes down 1-2-3 after a solo bomb from Ian Rice. We'll go to the 9th. It's 4-2 Falmouth on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank.
Cape Cod Baseball League's best hitter via average steps in. Kevin Newman looks at a fastball in the outside corner against Adam Witt. This ought to be a good matchup. Witt against Mr. Newman. He's 3 for 3 today. Also a walk. He scored 3 runs. Witt sets 0-1. Newman pops it to the right side out of play. And now we have a Coca-Cola of Cape Cod scoreboard update. Finally, some of the games around the league, Greg, are finally in action.
Bourne leading Wareham 1-0 in the bottom of the 3rd at Doran Park. With a win, Bourne clinches the division, and Falmouth is locked into the number 2 spot in the Cape Cod Western Division standings.
Newman a slight open stance as Witt sets quickly. Newman asks for time. 0-2 on the right-handed hitter from Arizona.
No score. YD and Hyannis. Should Hyannis tie or win, that locks them in the 3 spot.
0-2, change up away at 88. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Kevin Newman.
Barring a Katuitt comeback here today, assuming that the score holds.
3rd time today, Newman has led off an inning. 1-2, nails it on the ground. Over to short, Holder sets, throw across to first in time to get Newman for the first time today. Not too bad of a finish. 3 for 4 in 5 plate appearances for Kevin Newman. Brings up Connor Hale.
3 runs scored of the 4 that Falmouth has plated. There's a reason why Kevin Newman is leading the league in hitting, and there's a reason why he's hitting third in Jeff Trundy's lineup.
We talked about it before the game today as Witt sets. First pitch to Hale is nubbed down the third baseline foul. No play for Logan Taylor. It's funny you mentioned that because I work with Kevin Newman's host mom, Stacy, at Betsy's Diner in Falmouth. And she mentioned to me how it's been frustrating for Kevin because he keeps thinking about Billy Fleming, former second baseman for the Bourne Braves, and a changeup misses outside. It's now 1-1 on Connor Hale. Kevin has become frustrated that he might not win the batting title because technically Billy Fleming was tied with him entering today. Fastball on the outer half, called a strike 1 and 2. Now, after today's performance, Kevin Newman and Billy Fleming entered a .357 clip each. Newman a 3-hit day. Well, he's easily pulled ahead now. He's got to maintain it with 1 game left. 1-2 pitch, swung and a miss. Hale's down on 4 pitches. But how can you blame Kevin Newman? Billy Fleming signs a pro contract with the Yankees earlier this season in 31 games played. This is Newman's 30th game played this year. We mentioned it earlier in the broadcast, but now with a 3-hit day, only being retired once, he scores 3 of the team's 4 runs. For Kevin Newman, as the fastball misses away to Cam O'Brien, DH from West Virginia, Kevin Newman is still something to play for, considering he wants to raise his draft stock.
He's hitting now, after today's game, at .369.
1-0, changeup, catches the outside corner to the left-handed hitter O'Brien. It's 1-1. I believe last year, .370 was the clip that notched the batting title for him last season. Imagine he got the same average in consecutive years to win the batting title. Changeup, low and inside. 2 balls and a strike on O'Brien.
Now, today he went 3 for 4. If Newman goes 0 for 4 tomorrow, he will be hitting at .357.
Wow.
So basically, Newman either needs to have only 3 at-bats tomorrow or get a hit.
Pitch popped up out of play. 2-2 on O'Brien as Adam Witt tries to work a perfect ninth. Kettleers trail 4-2 to the Falmouth Commodores. Greg Moraz and Brendan Glasheen on hand with you. Meeting number 5 of 6 today, meeting 6 tomorrow. Definitely something to watch out for. Can Kevin Newman win another batting title? 2-2 pitch, nailed to center in the air. Jackson glinds, trots it about 5 or 6 steps. He makes the catch just by the right of his chest to route number 3. Kettleers need 2 runs in the home half of the ninth to extend this game. We'll go to the ninth inning. 4-2 Falmouth on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank.
Bottom of the ninth inning at Lowell Park. Trace Barrera to lead things off for the Kettleers in a 4-2 ball game in favor of Falmouth. Matt Eckelman, the new pitcher. The right-hander hurls the first pitch. Change up at 74 in the inner half. The right-handed hitter Barrera behind 0-1.
Matt Eckelman pitched 16 and 2/3 scoreless innings over 13 appearances.
Pitcher from St. Louis University heaves a fastball up and in. 1-1 on Barrera.
Before giving up a run on July 30th against Bourne. That was the first run he gave up all year.
Barrera waved on and missed a changeup outside. The back foot comes all the way out. His head pointed towards the left field foul pole. 320 feet away from home plate. Barrera had 2 hits on Friday night against Wareham. Tonight he struggled. 0 for 2, a walk, and a pair of strikeouts. Eckelman sets by his chest. 1-2. Swing and a miss. Another sweeping changeup. Gets Barrera on his toes. He has struck out in 3 consecutive bats. 3 total on the day. All swing and missing.
Eckelman in 18 innings has only given up that 1 run. A .5 ERA. The big burly right-hander with a grizzly beard from St. Louis has been a solid rock at the end of Mike Landry's bullpen.
Jackson Glines takes a fastball inside at 90 miles per hour. 1-0 on the center fielder from Michigan. That's now 17 strikeouts and 18 in the 3rd innings pitched for Eckelman. Chase sets up outside. 1-0. Change up. Misses away below the ankles. 2 balls, no strikes. Shadows sporting across the infield and outfield. Right field still has lots of sun on it. 1-1 pitch in the dirt, grounded over to first base. Madsen picks it up, takes it himself, tags the bag with the right foot for out number 2, and the Kettleers are down to their last out.
And going off of this games not against Hyannis stat, this will now be 5 runs scored for the Kettleers should Fincher not come across here, or Brendan Hendricks, who steps on base, on deck. 48 innings, not against Hyannis since July 25th, 5 runs.
First pitch swinging by Fincher. It's a shot to deep center. Back goes Duggar. He makes the catch for out number 3. Cotuit falls for the 3rd time this season in 5 tries against the Falmouth Commodores. Falmouth improves their record well above 500. Cotuit continues to slip below 500. Falmouth now 25-17-1. Cotuit 18-24-1. And now it's all about the waiting game, Greg. Cotuit has to see how Hyannis does tonight. As for Falmouth, they get the win. If Bourne wins tonight, though, their division chances are over.
That indeed is the waiting game, and as Homer Simpson once said on an episode of The Simpsons, the waiting game stinks. Let's play Hungry Hungry Hippos. And that's maybe what the Kettleers will be doing, because scoreboard watching isn't really that good for anybody, and people think of it as, well, you're too concerned about what's happening to other people. But basically the situation is this. A Hyannis win or tie, the Kettleers are locked into number 4. If Hyannis by some chance loses, if the Kettleers win tomorrow, they will be the 3rd seed.
Should be interesting to watch for tomorrow. But first, let's recap tonight's game on the Kettleers Insider Postgame Show.
It's time for the Kettleers Insider Postgame Show on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. With a wrap on tonight's ball game, here's Brendan Glasheen and Greg Moraz.
There were highs and lows in today's game, but in the end, Cotuit comes out on the losing end, 4-2 to the Falmouth Commodores. Greg Moraz and Brendan Glasheen on hand with you here on the Kettleers Insider Postgame Show. And Greg, you mentioned that 48 innings in which the Kettleers have only scored 3 runs. That dates back to a game against the Wareham Gatemen here at Lowell Park. The offense has gone silent. Only time it's come alive is when it plays Hyannis.
That's the stat. 5 runs in the last 48 innings against teams that are not the Hyannis Harborhawks. Now that may seem like a stat that you would just make up for the sake of making up stats, but when you score 20 runs in 2 games against the same opponent and yet have not scored more than 2 runs in a game against any other opponent that you faced over that span, that's a problematic sign. And it's not like the Kettleers are not giving good pitching performances, because against Orleans, they pitched well. They only gave up 2 hits to that game against Wareham that they ended up losing. A 5-0 loss on Friday, the last game against the Wareham Gatemen. Nick Eicholtz had 1 bad inning. A 4-run, bottom of the 2nd inning. Other than that, he was perfect.
Kettleers fall 4-2. Kevin Newman clearly stands out as the player of the game for Falmouth. He went 3 for 4 with a walk. He scored 3 of Falmouth's 4 runs. The batting title will probably go his way unless Jake Madsen goes nuts in tomorrow's game against the Kettleers, because Madsen only needs 3 more at-bats to be officially in the race. He entered today's game with a 367 average. Billy Fleming of Bourne still at 357, considering he left the ball club due to signing with the New York Yankee organization. But looking at it on the Cotuit side, you get 2 home runs today from Logan Taylor and from Ian Rice. Those home runs came in the 3rd and 8th innings, respectively. Cotuit also added 4 new players today, Greg. We saw 3 of them. Not the best day for Kyle Lewis at the plate. He finished 0 for 3 with a couple of flyouts. We saw Schwab pitch. We saw Harper pitch. Good to see these new faces heading into tomorrow's game.
Well, it's good to get some of the new bullpen guys acclimated, and it's good to give some of the Kettleer pitchers who have really been taking a toll in terms of the amount of innings that they've pitched, getting them some rest. And what we don't know yet, we don't know 2 things. Number 1, we don't know who's going to start the playoffs. And number 2, we don't know who's going to start tomorrow. Who starts tomorrow will more than likely not start game 1 of the playoffs. Your 2 best pitchers over the last 3 weeks have been Jeff Kinley and Vince Fiore.
Right.
If either one of them starts tomorrow, you and I will both be very surprised.
Both of us would be shocked. Again, another staff day for the Kettleers pitching staff. Mike Roberts told that to Greg in the Mike Roberts report today before the game. And quickly to wrap, on our broadcast, some scores around the league.
YD has struck in the top of the 5th inning. They now lead the Hyannis Harborhawks 1-0. So the Kettleers are rooting for the YD Red Sox to win, as that is the only chance that Cotuit has of gaining the 3 seed. It should also be worth noting that if the Kettleers do end up as the 3 seed, more than likely, 2 consecutive years, they will start the playoffs against the Falmouth Commodores and will be playing at least 4 in a row against Falmouth. Bottom of the 4th at Doran Park in Bourne, Braves still lead the Gatemen 1-0. Bourne can lock up the division title with a win tonight. No score, as they're just getting underway at Eldridge Park, and no score as they're just getting underway at White House Field. Brewster and Harwich, and then Chatham and Orleans. That is your Coca-Cola of Cape Cod scoreboard update. The last regular season scoreboard update we will have this season at Lowell Park.
We'll have at least 1 more home game here at Lowell Park come postseason time this coming Thursday against either these Falmouth Commodores or the Bourne Braves. The Kettleers fall today 4-2. They are now trailing the season series 3-2 against Falmouth. Tomorrow, they try to even the series at 3 games apiece at Arnie Allen Diamond in Falmouth. My broadcast partner, Greg Moraz, I am Brendan Glasheen, signing off. Again, Cotuit falls 4-2, and Falmouth has taken advantage of the season series, a 3-2 lead, heading into the regular season finale tomorrow. Good night from Lowell Park, and we hope to see you tomorrow night in our regular season finale.